Okay, so we have made it to session number 130 for Phase 3, Season 2, Episode 22. It is the second day of the 7th month of the year 1011. And at the table today we have Ariadna, who is
busy trying to write down all of that stuff that you just said.
It's too
so fast.
I can't get it all down.
All I've got is session 130. That's
all
it.
I got. It was a
So
second.
it was what?
Phase 3,
Season
2,
S2, yep.
Episode 22.
Episode 20. Did you say 1 or not?
22.
2. Neither of them.
Okay.
And you gave the in-game date being...
It's the second day of the 7th month of the year 1011.
When are we allowed back into Glantry? Is it like 1019 or something?
You're not sure.
Okay.
There is no player told character known date.
No, now I know. We haven't been allowed into Glantry.
It is the nation of mages.
Oh, okay.
We spent a fair bit of time there early on, but we haven't been there since 1109. That's where the 9 came from.
And why are we exiled?
No, 10. Oh, no.
Because if you cross the borders with knowledge of Redrian, you'll probably be taken out by one or other side of the gods currently
we
fighting.
will be murdered by gods.
Okay, well, that's a reason to avoid Galantry, I think.
There was a moment early on in the war where Redrian said, you can choose to have this forbidden knowledge or not. If you choose to have this forbidden knowledge, you cannot enter Glantry. And there will become a point where whether you choose to have the knowledge now or whether you come aware of it later, you still can't enter Glantry.
Okay, alright, so I wasn't there, but I've got the knowledge anyway, just because everyone else has got the knowledge.
It was also the actual forbidden knowledge was not to tell your patron god or other countries until it was necessary.
Yeah. We were doing secret preparations to deal with the master or so on.
Redrian didn't know the other gods couldn't hear his name.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But now he knows it's better.
Now it's basically if you tell your god, it'll be like you're lying to them.
So, if the GM will humour me and pick up my dragon at some point that's amenable to him while he's having his meal, and wave her around and make her look cute and flappy. This is Calcrix, the silver dragon, mostly, with the jazz wings, which she pulled out recently. And that helped smooth our entrance into Humboldt.
Omelette.
Oh, how do you say it again?
H-O-M-L-E-T.
Homlet. I'll get there one day. I picked it up from Martin over the years. The more you explain how to pronunciate a word to me, the worse I say it. Coming from a woman who's done linguistic courses.
Well, just think of it as, like it's a different pronunciation, a different name, different cultural name for the same location.
Calcrix is a 12-year-old, happy-go-lucky for the most part, daughter of player knowledge only, Bahamut and Tiamat. So that makes her a very lawful justice kind of centered dragon, mixed in with just the right amount of chaos. All of her chaos presents as...
You're probably not too fussed about slight problem pronunciations with names then.
No. Well, there's times where she's utterly serious as per her law-keeping, justice-abiding father. And there's times where she's just like, let's play with sounds.
One of the aspects of Bahamut is a trickster.
Yeah. And he also loves children, but she, like her father, cannot say no to a person in need of aid or help. and she cannot let a wrong go undone or
unpunished.
Unjustifiably punished. Not extremes, but the punishment should suit the crime. If that turns out to be a wicked prank by her companion Eve, who is Fey Dark, and looks like a tulip carnivorous plant type. Not a tulip. There's a word.
Saraceno.
Yeah, Saraceno, but there's actually a word that they're often called. Anyway, she looks like a plant, except she's blacks and greys and was a gift from the Queen of Darkness. And the two of them happily rule their coffee empire with their coffee gnomes, and I think that kind of encompasses most of Calbrix in as short a time as possible.
Next up we have is Gary.
Hi, I'm playing Anton Chigur, a Treladaran warlock, an alienist warlock, and just because we're the only two here for the moment, emphasise the contrast. Jazz wings, silver, nothing like that. Look like some sort of weird mutant, black, dark, contrasting with Proshka, who is a mischievous pseudo dragon who
likes to play cards.
Likes to play cards and eats too much and
Does he?
doesn't necessarily follow instructions, but is a true friend even though he denies it.
Well, if you ever give him an order, he follows it. If you give him a guideline, he'll bend it.
That's fine. And I actually have something for him tonight.
I was going to say, what do you have for him tonight?
Well, in our previous session,
Yes.
I was sitting at a table with two. One was a mercenary, I'm pretty sure, and the other was a wannabe mercenary, I think.
Those wannabe mercenaries.
Yeah, and they seem to be trying to get information from it, just as context.
Oh, yeah.
Just as context. We're in Alphatia now, and we're looking for those connections that cults have to. I'm not sure exactly what in the area, and look, I don't know very much about the Master, but I think it'd be a reasonable assumption to say the Master has lots of spies and agents. And I think in one place where he might have some would be here. So I don't want to give anything away.
We were kind of told we could trust the mercenary. We
were only told that there was a mercenary. I actually got that.
It was a rumour, not an
a rumour. Yeah.
So rumours can be false and misleading.
Yeah, and it was.
I understand
that. And he seems to be competent, whereas the other one, that's Zert. The other one, Elmo, seems to be more like a wannabe.
Yeah.
And doesn't seem as such. But it is I could work out. They seem to be wanting information on it. It might be completely and utterly innocent. I might be being far too suspicious. They may just simply they're looking for an easy, well-paid gig.
I think being too suspicious is actually a really good way to survive.
Yeah, but and I think given the Master, that's basically my default position. So we had this weird situation where we're talking and no one was giving any information. So
this was Paul Calcrix was breaking the horrible news about the poor dead stable boy.
Yeah, and so Proshka, this might be a good job for you.
Proshka just nods.
Yeah, well, maybe I do this telepathically rather than speaking it out loud. But can you, hang around, keep close by them, surreptitiously, just find out what you can about these two. They might be trustworthy, but at the moment, I think it's safe I think we assume we don't trust people till we know we can trust them. And I know that's not a very nice thing, but the Master's very powerful, and I expect he's got agents here.
I think that's a good idea.
And if not the Master, they may be serving the Alphatian basically spy network.
Yeah.
So either one is as bad as each other.
Yeah. We shouldn't trust the Alphatian spy networks, what you're saying, okay?
Well, they're currently trained to annihilate your home.
Okay. Alphatians, bad guys. I had written that down, they're bad guys. I didn't realise they were trying to annihilate us.
Well, they want to do genocide on Galantry and anyone who knows the name of that country.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a napkin I can get or a plate?
Just behind you over here. Behind me.
Right below the silver dragon on the little pedestal.
Yep.
So, silver dragon in between the two statues, and it's looking down at it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So Zert was
Zerd was the. I'm calling him
apparently
the
trustable mercenary who stays at the Welcome
competent
Wench.
mercenary. I think he's competent.
And yeah, there was a bunch of other rumours about a ruined moat house.
The rumor was he was trustworthy.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
All
whether
right.
or not he actually is, it's nice to have rumors spreading that you're trustworthy, so that if you do become untrustworthy,
But trustworthy to whom? Trustworthy to people at his side. Like he just seems like a mercenary to me, but maybe I'm being too suspicious.
No, you're not.
I don't have anything like detect thoughts, so I can't do anything like that, and I don't really want to start throwing spells around.
Just a question while I remember.
Mm-hmm.
You have silence, don't you, as a spell?
Yeah, I do.
You do. How long does it last for, out of
10
curiosity?
minutes, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's concentration, though. Silence. 10
So
minutes.
if you-
No, not concentration. At least it is. I didn't write it down.
Yeah. So you can, yeah. Martin, if Calgris wanted to learn silence off Anton, like you learn a language, is that something you just
I'm a
kind of-
warlock. I can't teach my
you
skills.
role play, and then if the DM's happy, after like 10 more sessions, you eventually learn it, or however many sessions you
There are
determine?
ways to learn it. It's just not as easy to learn it from someone who spontaneously casts it.
Oh, okay, so it's spontaneously cast rather
Good.
than...
Prepared.
A common view of wizards of warlocks is we are lazy and we take the easy way out and we don't properly learn and research. I try to actually do some research, but I've never actually learned the magic the way you've learned it.
Well, technically I'm a wizard, so I think I've learned it the same way you learned it.
No, that because you're a wizard, you've learned how to.
So Gary's a warlock.
Yes.
I'm a warlock.
I see.
It
That's
is
what we can say.
That's what I
concentration.
used to be.
That's
No,
concentration.
you used to be a sorcerer who
Oh.
did it similar to a warlock, but in a different way.
Okay.
Oh, damn, I'm getting confused now. Okay, alright. So if I want to learn silence, I can't learn it off someone. I've got to...
Various people might be able to teach you.
Okay, yes.
You know, you could always try to find a scroll of it and then copy it in your spellbook.
Mm-hmm. And then learn
okay.
it from there.
So maybe find a scroll. Because I've got some scrolls, and I've got a ring that lets me keep something in it.
But also keep in mind,
Spell storage.
Calcrix, I don't have that many different spells. And if I've got it, you don't need to know it. 'Cause I can
Well,
always cast it.
Calcrix
You've got a
wants
lot-
to be able to cast silence when she does one of her prayers.
Okay.
It's a prayer to a god. She doesn't want people to necessarily be able to hear or know that she knows of.
Okay, fair enough.
And she wants to have discussions with them about, or at least monologue to them about things
Okay.
that she's read in a book that she doesn't have.
Well, until such time as you learn, I'm happy to cast it for you.
Online we have M.
Hey, I finally made it. Sorry, I did reply to your message, but then it only sent as got on my computer. So yay. I play Zold, your lovable cleric wizard.
Failed
Just,
ranger.
just to put you on the spot, what makes you lovable?
Well, my partner likes me, and my
I knew you were
in-game
gonna
partner
say that.
likes me, and my animals like me.
The
So I
dragon
guess I'm
likes
That's
you.
lovable.
true. You've got a lot of friendly animals, haven't you?
And you've got this adorable trait of having been a former ranger.
Mm.
Alright, sorry. I didn't mean to mess up your introduction. I've always wanted to ask.
All good. I didn't put lovable in front of all my character names, except for my new Pathfinder character. She's not lovable.
And if you heard that beep, that was me just getting the message you just sent a little bit ago.
No, I know, I did hear that. I was like, why did that really send when I jumped on my computer? Like, I sent that like 15 minutes ago. But anyway, whatever, it's Facebook being dumb. As usual. Yes, I found out a lot last session about options I have to try and get Galantry and Ethengar on better terms. And then there's the easy way of genocide and the hard way, which I still don't quite know what the hard way is, but I guess we'll find out at some point.
Well, you could just kill the leaders of both countries and take control.
Well,
Yeah, that avoids genocide.
yeah, well, I mean,
don't really
yeah,
I don't
ruthless
really want to
dictatorship,
suggest this, but you'd
sure.
always be the power behind the throne. You know, mental control, or even kill them and raise them as the undead. No, sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
say
she
that.
could do that actually.
I didn't say that.
She has
I
necromancy.
mean, I am technically capable of that, but my character does not like that option. Yes. Anyway, so I have moral conundrums, which I will deal with later.
And eventually create your own versions of puppet leaders.
If Alex were to hear any of this player talk, she'd pull out her puppets. She's been practicing making puppets, and she and Eek would start doing a little puppet show for everyone.
Okay. That's good.
How not to build friends and influence countries.
Yeah, how not to commit genocide.
Well, mostly it looks like Punch and Judy, but medieval.
Yeah, right.
They chat at each other happily for a little bit, but all the chatting is done in gibberish, and then the chatter gets more and more excited until it sounds like they're having a disagreement, and then two of them duck behind the stage, pull out great big bats and start hitting each other. And sorry, for some reason that made me laugh.
Well, that is what the whole Punch and Judy started out like for a lot of people.
And then when they finally get exhausted of beating each other with their paddle pop stick bats, they both pull out cookies and eat them.
I think that would work as a show.
Okay, so the three of you are the players for tonight.
Well,
Josh might be able to hop on after work, but he is pulling overtime tonight, unfortunately.
Which means you'll probably be coming home and going, I want to play, fall asleep.
Yeah, it's been a pretty common occurrence the last couple of weeks, unfortunately. He has been absolutely slammed. They've been quite short-staffed, hence the overtime again today.
It's nice he's got work.
He sent me a photo before, and he'd already done I think it was 16 scans today, running 3 rooms.
oh my god.
So yeah, what? And he was still running 3 rooms at 6 o'clock, which means that all teams probably being called in because everyone was on home by then. So yeah, or also people doing overtime today. Who knows?
It does happen, I'm sorry to say.
Well,
Yeah.
it was something. Another thing I wanted to do out of last week, if others haven't got any
You're
immediate
more than
ideas.
welcome to.
We did hear that there was a druid in town,
Yes,
or maybe outside town. I'm
I
not
very
sure.
much want to visit the druid.
Yeah, and although I'm trying to remember, what did we know about this elemental connection that we have to try to find out
It
about?
was Earth, I think.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
no,
no,
the
the-
druid was Earth.
Yeah, but what is the connection? So when I say we're trying to find this connection and possibly sever it, what am I actually talking about?
You don't know, they didn't give you a lot of instructions.
Okay,
Just
so
that
we
this
have a
is-
clue.
This is the home of where the 4 big cults came from.
Yeah.
And they left here because they didn't want to be forced into the first strike option for Alphatia.
Okay.
As they're the
okay.
4
You
cults are
did
sent
explain
in.
that, yeah. So, but they're still tied to this part of Alphatia.
So it's the home where the elemental cults came from. And I guess, considering that this druid is an earth focused druid, you might be able to use some of your earth elemental knowledge to
I was
get
going
along with them.
to. Oh, I don't know that much. Actually, I do know a bit because I've got the book. Which, like if we're not doing anything in the evening, I might actually do a bit of rereading of the book before the next day.
Well, I was going to start with the session of you'd send Proskar off to investigate. Others that come back to the inn, and we're going to call it a night as the.
Yeah.
It was late. People had been busy doing stuff. Yeah.
I did tag that I wanted to go on some stealthy nightly explorations with Eve.
Which is why I was saying it had going to a night, and you may drag the other two into it if you wish to. As the people were leaving and they were closing the place up for the night.
If I remember rightly, Zal and Anton were keeping in the same room. So it is entirely possible that Zal or Anton will hear Calcrix or go to check on Calcrix, because Calcrix was very sad, because before she was sneaking out of her room, she went up to her room to say some prayers and have a little cry, because she didn't really like having to be the person to tell the parents
that the kid was dead.
She was grateful that Zal was with her and that Zal dragged Bradshaw along to kind of account for his part, but she's still very, very upset by the whole thing, because he was just an innocent boy.
A bit late now, but we are quite high level. Have you thought about Ray's dead or someone?
No.
No.
I believe we did discuss as players that the druid could probably resurrect from the hand, as long as we keep the hand.
Oh, that's right.
But you can't.
I remember that discussion now. Yeah.
You can't raise dead a hand, otherwise you'll have an undead hand walking around.
So maybe on the way back, if Zal
reincarnate
doesn't do it,
reincarnate doesn't need much of the body.
Calcrix will go into the stable and see if she can find body remains.
Well,
and secure them.
Bradshaw has the hand, and he hid the rest of the body.
Okay, so I hope Zal takes that hand off him.
I'm not sure I would have, because they had very strong opinions about about me being a cleric rather than a druid. So if anything, I probably would have got Bradshaw to take it to, like, if it was possible to take it to the druid.
I don't think Bradshaw would have done that. Bradshaw said he was going back to the tavern to get drunk.
And Bradshaw had also said in session that he was intending to give it to his drake to eat to destroy the evidence.
Oh, okay. I was going to suggest that I could cast Locate Creature, and if it works on somebody's dead, I don't know if it does, I could maybe find the remains.
Because we did talk about the burial last game, if it's okay, considering that Bradshaw and Mark aren't here, Calcrix will at least have secured the last remains of the child so that he could be buried according to his parents' wishes.
He'd be happy to give you the hand.
Okay, I will store the hand in ice as well, the coldest place I can find to store the hand.
Eve?
I will ask Eep to store the hand very carefully, and as
there's also gentle repose.
like clear. Store does not mean consume, eat, or get rid of in any way. Calcrix wants to keep the hand to give to someone she wants it to stay as fresh as possible, but not do any magic on it that might make it come alive. Is Eep nodding very slowly and just changing random colours right now?
Eep just nodding very slowly and being careful not to change colours, so Eep is paying attention.
Okay, alright, well, yeah, this is good. Calcrix gives Eep a hug and thanks Eep. Does Eep respond to the fact that Calcrix is very tearful right now?
Eep does do a lot of eeping around you.
That does cheer her up a lot, and she thanks Eep.
Okay, so Proshka does give you running emotions of following, watching, dandruff, shiny,
Okay.
and you're just getting this constant stream of emotion coming off Proshka as he's following the guy.
Oh, okay. That's unusual.
Well, you've rarely asked him to do stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Well, he's done it for me before. Just not for a while. There hasn't really been a particular need. And he's been very much more interested in playing cards.
He has.
And eating cookies.
And now he's fixated on his next thing.
Okay.
And he'll be completely fixated until you tell him not to.
Okay. Well, I might do that thing where I think you could switch senses for a while. I think I could do that. With the familiar, just to see
You
where
can.
he is.
Okay, so as you close your eyes and look, you can see Proshka's hanging off the guy's belt, going through his pockets.
Okay, all right. Well, okay, that.
He's not taking anything. He's just looking what's in there.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
It's one way of figuring out information.
He's gathering information. He's doing a great job. I let him know telepathically. You're doing a great job, Proshka.
And then you feel the Proshka getting patted by whoever's pockets he's going through.
Okay.
And you get that contentment purr coming through him.
Oh, good. Okay. Haven't heard that one in a while.
He learned to do that because he saw cats doing it.
Oh yeah. He's tried to buddy up the cats before without any success.
Okay, so you find outside your room while you're relaxing, you're hearing a whole bunch of eeps going down the corridor.
Eep, eep, eep.
Okay, all right.
With you and
open the door. Is everything okay? Oh,
Is this on my way to my room?
on your way from your room.
On my way from my room?
Yeah.
Well, what you see is Calvert. No, quiet. No, it's okay now. I'm feeling okay.
And you're gonna eep, eep.
We're going to play a game. It's going to be who can be the quietest person for the longest time. And whoever wins gets something to eat that they've never eaten before.
He pulls out a cookie.
Never tasted before. New taste.
He pulls out 2 cookies.
I hope you're not talking about.
This is the reward system that they've had in place before. That Calcrix takes one cookie, hands one to eat, and then quietly, and then they both turn and suddenly look at Anton, realizing Anton's there, and go, "Oh,
It's okay.
Hello.
Sorry, I didn't mean to pry. I just heard a lot of eeping.
well, you know how we heard that rumor about the wizards, the wizards' secret passage underneath the inn." But I thought.
You're going to
I
go
thought-
look for it.
Yeah, I thought it might be worthwhile since everyone's sleeping now. Because
Okay.
I bought extra rounds of drinks for everyone because I was feeling sad about the stable boy bring.
Yeah, okay.
Because
Do you want some company? Apart from Eep, of course.
we were just coming to see if you and Zal might come. Is Zal
Is
awake?
Zal asleep yet, or is Zal still up?
Zal is definitely not asleep at this point.
No, I think all the noise.
I was gonna say if I'm not awake yet, I should be, right?
Yeah.
Plus, there is that replaying movie on the ceiling from your father's skull.
Why is it
Again, why?
Why? Yeah. That's my question.
Well, you haven't given him another one to play yet.
Doesn't he have one from when Zal's hooked up with her husband? His husband?
No, probably.
Although that would be worse when you think about it. Wouldn't you prefer it be Cheval and Chauffeur rather than you and is it Tobias?
It's Chauvel and
No, it's Chauvel and
Chauffeur.
But Zal's husband is it? I think it might be.
No, it's oh, sorry, I do have it written down.
I was going to say, do I have it completely wrong?
It's not Tobias. It does.
Tiberius? No.
I need to find my book.
I was going to say, surely Martin's got it in his notes for characters.
Not easily handy at the moment.
Yeah, I'll look it up at some point. I'm sure I've got it.
I've also done something smart with my notebook. And I was trying to look for it this afternoon so I could start writing notes again.
You put it in a safe space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put it in a real safe spot, as usual.
Mine all go in a spot that I have, no matter where, or whether. I have tons of paperwork thanks to the NDIS. I've got a literal filing cabinet that moves around this main room all the time. But the journals for the role-playing games always sit in one spot on the shelf and they never move. I think you need a shelf like that.
I wish we had the space for a shelf like that. That would be handy. But
look, I've eked out that space. There is 5 bookshelves of role-playing books in here. Not to make Martin feel guilty. I understand the challenge is what I'm trying to communicate. But also absolutely make Martin feel guilty. Kidding.
I found my red one, which is my Pathfinder one.
Of course you're
I keep looking.
Anyway, the side comment, I didn't mean to derail everyone with the comment of, at least it's not a video of you and your husband. Because I think that would be more embarrassing.
Yeah, probably. I think I probably put a sheet over my dad's face, though I don't think that helps very much, considering that he wasn't anywhere near, or I don't think he was anywhere near Chauvel and so forth when that happened. So yeah, I still have very, very much unanswered questions from that.
So you're definitely getting the shadow version of the movie playing on the ceiling.
Can you have conversations with your dad?
I try to. He usually just says my name. It has been a very rare occurrence where he's actually almost had like a prophetic, sort of like a prophetic thing to say.
Okay.
But usually he just says my name or changes like his like word setting to sort of indicate stuff. But yeah, that's about it. Still trying to work out how to talk with him. Maybe I should have asked the Great Blue Dragon that, and I should have thought of that, but that's fine.
What was it that we should have asked the Great Blue Dragon? Sorry.
How I could better communicate with my father in the skull.
Oh, that is actually a really good question. Next time.
Yeah, that would have been a really good question. Yeah.
You see, this is the sort of thing I put in the back of my journal is things that I need to keep track of. And like I've got like these big asterisks that like next time you get a spell, add this spell. Next time you get to ask questions of an ancient or knowledgeable being, and then I've got like these list of questions. So I reckon you need a spot in the back of your journal that's like next time I talk to someone knowledgeable, ask how to communicate with my father. Although for, 250 gold coin, I could possibly research everything there is to do about talking with one's father trapped in a skull type deal.
I mean, I'm sure we can do that.
The rules on that are coming. It's sort of in the back burner.
No, I'm just teasing. Anyway, so Zala's obviously awake at least.
Mm-hmm.
If not,
Do you want company?
yes. Well, she
Are we
was
trying to
just
be quiet?
she was just trying to shush Eep while she was coming to knock on your door.
Well, we'll talk about the silence spell. I could cast silence. And then we'd have to communicate by hand signals.
Look, I think if we just made a game with Eep to communicate by hand signals or colour, Eep would probably good with that. But has Eep shown signs that she's interested in the game of who can be as quiet as possible?
Well, if you keep talking to Ape, Ape keeps talking back.
Yes, she's now talking at.
And Ape hasn't talked while you're talking to other people because you're not talking to Ape.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Ape. I guess Ape.
So I'm guessing as long as she's following along, Ape is good with keeping quiet. Alrighty.
I warn you, I have no stealth skill.
Well, we can cast silence on yourself.
No, but that's silence for everyone. It's 20-foot radius.
Well, there you go. We can cast silence on ourselves. We would have to make sure we had a agreed system of communication, though, if we were going to do that. Like telepathy, which I actually can't do.
I know.
I'd have to take my ring off, and we don't want to do that.
No, we don't want to do that. Let's just try to be quiet.
And hey, having
Halfrix pulls out a little notepad.
having silence and darkness around you, I'm sure, is a perfectly great combination.
It works for me.
Let's just try to be quiet and hope that everyone's so drunk that the AC or the DC or whatever it is for them to hear us is like really high.
I'll come up with a good lie if someone asks what we're doing.
I did buy lots of drinks for people when I came back to try and make up for the fact that the beloved stable boy Bryn was suddenly taken from them because the barkeep mentioned that he was a very good friend of like family. So I'm like, here, have the night off. Here, have drinks, lots of drinks. Here is coin. In fact, just have a jewel.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. I feel really guilty. I'm not responsible for this, but I still feel bad.
Yeah, that's the difference between a good and an evil character. Most of the evil characters don't care. Okay, so you're able to make it down to the stairs going down. The reason you could hear Calcrix was in the guest room furthest from the stairs.
Oh, I've got his name. Emmy. It's Thalius, the scribe.
Alice, I knew it started with T.
So you organised a date on the 31st of March 2023 with Thalius the scribe, who worships Asterius, moon,
has been quite a long
thievery
time.
and merchants.
Hey, we had on Tuesday references to session 8.
Oh, I was so close though, Tobias.
I actually had one of the players go, "Why didn't you tell them what you remember of it?" As I went to the bathroom and came back, I can't remember.
Well, I derailed everything again. I was just so excited I found his name.
No, that's okay. Thank you for finding it, because I know I have it written down, but I would have thought wouldn't have been that long ago.
I think
to be honest,
last March I said happy anniversary. But you're coming up to you're 3 or 4 days off your anniversary now.
I will endeavour to send a gift through Drizzle's magic mail network. As well as like the usual like monthly money and stuff that I send and personal letter.
Which brought me to my final derailing question: is he still the scribe, or is now Thalius the diplomat, or Thalius the all-giving father of unparented children?
Well, he is technically a probably diplomat in training, but he's running an orphanage with his scribing and diplomatic skills.
Okay, so still Thalius the scribe.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. All right.
Just duties have changed slightly.
He's added some.
And plus, he teaches kids.
Okay.
Considering he knows how to write, he can teach them all the languages he knows.
Literacy is important.
And Zal's taken great importance on teaching languages as well, because he is also one of many words.
Sorry.
Alright,
Yes.
we will sneak downstairs.
Okay. So, taking the stairs down, you find yourself in the empty dining room with embers in the main fireplace, keeping the place warm, and you can see that there is a bar across the exit for the door. Just a wooden bar, but just sort of something you can just lift out. But it's to stop people just walking in after they shut for the night.
There's no, like, bells or anything attached to this bar? Like, or wire and a bell? Just
No. It's just across it, stopping anyone going out the front doors without opening the door, but who knows, the door itself may be alarmed.
Well, that's why I might...
I'll cast Detect Magic. Is there any magic here apart from us?
Okay, looking around, you can see each of the tables has some sort of enchantment on it.
Oh, okay. I'm interested now.
The enchantment, as you get close, feels like a abjuration magic on there.
Okay, to keep them clean.
Yeah.
Okay. Clever.
And the chairs have a transmutation magic on them.
Transmutation magic?
Mm.
Yeah.
What kind of transmutation magic?
Seems to mold to the person.
Oh, wow. I didn't
And
notice that.
also seems to warm up in cold weather and cool down in hot weather.
Wow,
How
these
is
are
this
pretty
like,
cool.
I need to legally purchase one of these tables and two of these chairs.
And from what you've heard of Alphatia, it's much like Glantry.
Yeah.
There's magic everywhere.
Okay.
Finding magic you've never seen before is the equivalent of turning around.
Okay. But it's also very practical, you know, keeping tables clean, making
It
chairs
is.
more comfortable. I don't want to start liking your facians though, so I'll drop that thought.
Well, their culture is the same culture that founded Glantry.
Okay.
Which is amusing that it's like two siblings fighting each other. The big sibling trying to squash the little sibling.
Okay. And the rest of us caught in the middle.
Mm-hmm. And you do see, moving around the tables, a animated broom sweeping up.
Okay.
Is that, oh no, that's the wrong music. Singing that's Fall of the Mountain King, not Fantasia.
That's close.
I can't think of Fantasia's notes right now.
I can't over the top of my head.
If only Josh was here, he would prowl that off in like 2 seconds flat.
I normally would be able to, but not since I had to increase my antispasmodics. My memory's really slow. I'm usually good on anything music, like 3 beats, and I'll know which song it is.
And by the looks of things, there are a couple of raccoons cleaning the dishes in the background.
Okay,
Did
they
they show
real
any
raccoons or
sign
they
of caring that
tape
we're,
changed or something?
You get the sort of feel of someone's familiar sort of thing.
Okay, raccoons though. Alright.
Do they notice us?
Well, they sort of look in your direction and just ignore you.
Okay.
Oh, well,
Basically, you have a feeling that they're probably here to lighten the load on the serving staff, so they're not always cleaning.
Abe leaves a cookie for each raccoon there.
They chitter happily at you. Abe chitters happily back, and you're surprised because he rarely chitters.
This is good to see. Later on, she's gonna go, what did they say?
And then he'll just chitter at you.
That's okay. She'll go, what does that mean? In Calcus words. And then
If only it has speak with animal, it probably means thank you very much.
I actually do have an animal ring thing. Do I have to like activate it to understand?
Yes, you could activate it.
I'd like to activate it, preferably if I can, a step before, just before so I
Okay.
can understand the chittering.
Okay, so they thank Eep for the cookie and tell Eep not to get crumbs on things, places, and Eep thanks them for the cookie and tells them not to get crumbs on things.
Ah, right. Well, there you go.
Okay.
Cowcrix will carefully look around for any crumbs, and if there are, she'll carefully pick them up and then eat the crumbs because she's don't want to waste cookie.
Well, you do know Eep is very good at mimicry.
Yes.
Not so good at actually understanding what Eep's saying, but
I do know she does mimicry more than she does anything else. And yet, after all these years, she's like, Cowcrix. Eep! Cowcrix. Hang on! Cowcrix? Eat Cowcrix. Death the infidels! Cowcrix. Thumbs up. Cookie.
okay, so you can see at the bottom of the stairs there are 2 private rooms that are currently open. They were closed when you were in here last. And you can see down the far end what appears to be a stairwell up and down into the private spaces of the inn.
For those visually...
So, say across the past where the door is, you can see where there's a stairwell going up and down.
Okay, so...
But right beside you there are 2 doors as you came down the stairs.
Right, okay.
That were closed last time you were here.
Okay. So we can see into those rooms?
You can. They look like private dining areas. May be able to use them later. Unless, of course, you want to sit with the rest of the people.
Well, actually,
Depends on if we have to have a private meeting.
good chance to scope it out. Investigation, detect magic. There's no things here where people could listen in onto us if we decide to use it.
Okay, so give me a investigate roll, but I'll give you advantage because you used detect magic at the same time.
Ooh, okay, cool. I think investigation's one of the skills I've got proficiency in. It is! I have proficiency!
And have you selected your specializations for your skills yet?
Yes, I have so. I didn't have a specialisation on investigation.
I just thought I'd ask.
27!
27,
Which is better than the other one, which would have been a 13.
You spend some time looking at both rooms,
Mm-hmm.
and you do see that they do have magic on the rooms.
Yeah. Magic, it's like listening or spying or scrying or something?
Well, the fireplaces seem to have a version of a flame that's burning without fuel.
Okay, yeah.
The walls seem to have some sort of muffling effect.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't actually hear what's happening in the rest of the inn while you're in here. So
Okay.
if you shut the door, it seems rather quiet.
Okay, so it's definitely private.
Which, hey, if people pay for a private room, you don't want to be hearing everyone yelling and screaming next door.
Okay, but I don't see any... I can't see any way in which someone could be listening or monitor or anything like that.
Doesn't seem to have any holes or any secret hidey holes until you find at the bottom of the stairwell in one of the rooms a small little trapdoor that is hidden under a rug that doesn't look like it's been moved in years.
Okay, well now
That
I'm curious.
could be our tunnel to our wizards, our long dead wizards'
No,
hidey hole. Because it's said to be underneath the inn.
well, we don't have Yodri here to check for traps, so move move
I
them.
think I can do and you could just do an investigation of it for
Yeah,
just a regular
I
one.
presume I'd have bugger all chance of finding anything, but I will, with my no trap finding ability whatsoever, try to see if I find a trap.
Yeah, right.
And roll a natural 20.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Looking at it, you think there is some sort of puzzle to opening it. Not quite a trap, but
Okay.
seems to have sections of the floor under the rug is moved around in a puzzle sort of way to unlock it.
This is a puzzle, guys. To unlock it, you've got to move things around. Sounds like
Calcrix
fun.
is extremely excited.
And you
Thought you might be.
hear a high squeak eep coming from Eep.
Eep.
No, it's more like sort of thing. It's so high that you can't quite hear it. Calcrix is going to examine the puzzle pieces on the floor alongside Eep, who we're both taking. We love games. Anything to do with solving things.
Okay.
Well, I'll stay on watch while they're solving the puzzle. I know they're going to have fun here, so I don't want to interfere.
Okay, an investigation check for Calcrix, who's going to be extremely happy whether she opens it or not.
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right, good. People have. It hasn't been a fun. Hasn't been a
One
fun
of the
day.
best parts of a puzzle is figuring out how to solve it. And if you don't solve it the first time, you just keep figuring out how to solve the
Okay,
puzzle.
all right.
You just try a different way.
Well,
So
something to
she's going
brighten
to
you up.
try. I don't have a great articulation at the moment, but she's going to try strategy A, which is she's going to try moving all the pieces in sort of like a diagonal pattern clockwise. That's going to be option 1, depending on whether anyone else offers any insight into how to solve these puzzles. Like if Zell feels left out, she's more than welcome to
Do the pieces
have an
have
attempt
symbols on them or
or
anything?
take part. Or
Most likely be 5 rings that you move
Yeah,
in
so-
various directions, and you can move things from
17,
inner to outer rings.
17 on an investigation, is that right?
On an investigation,
Which I'm not
yes.
proficient in.
But you still get to add your intellect to it.
Intelligence?
Yep.
Is it a
Intel.
proficiency save or just intelligence?
Just your intelligence bonus.
So that's just a +3, so that's 21.
Okay, so you figure it out fairly quickly, which you're quite surprised. And as you, because it was a 20 to figure it out, so not a terribly hard one for experienced people, but hard for the non-learned. And as it all lines up, you see on the wall that the stairs are on, a panel slides into the wall and down.
No, okay.
And you see a stairwell there going down.
Well done.
There's 2 creatures in this room who are literally trying to contain their excitement but can't. They're like, ah!
While they're doing that, have a look down the passageway or the stairwell or whatever. What can I
Looking-
see or hear?
You can see a lot of cobwebs going down there.
Okay.
Looks like it hasn't been travelled down in probably over 100 years.
No, okay. Now I'm really intrigued.
Looks like no one's been here for ages, so this is exciting stuff.
Yep.
So it slides down to reveal another tunnel, did you say?
A stairwell going
Stairwell.
down.
Is it a spiral stairwell?
It's a straight stairwell.
These things matter. The cat is unable to go to sleep properly because I keep jiggling the recliner.
Mum. Stop
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's pretty much that. It's like, why are you moving? I just put my head down. I just curled up into a ball.
Well, he keeps calling up on me, and by the time he's fallen asleep, I want to get back up again.
Yeah. I was like, no, I was comfy.
Okay,
Would
so
somebody be able to get one of my pillows so I can put my hook on it and just breathe it a little bit easier, please? Just so I don't kick the cat off the chair now that he's got a blanket on him. Just
This one?
yeah, that works. Just take my pillows. Thank you. Loft cat will work fine because I've only got one. Sometimes it's Iggy, sometimes it's Quill.
okay, so as you go down the stairs, you see that this is a fairly large space that looks like it's been disused for a long time.
Okay.
And in it you see many bunks built along the walls, several tables and benches, stools and carefully stored arms. Their metals greased to prevent rust.
So there's bunks,
There's bunks and there's weaponry.
Sort of barracks area, sort of.
And the ceiling of the room is a lot lower than you're expecting, as it's about 8 feet in height.
Okay. Detect magic? Because everything's magical in their facial. What's magical here?
Okay, so you pick up that the entire room is shrouded in wards.
Okay.
All the walls have symbols on them, all designed to block divination and any form of detection.
Okay. This is an interesting place.
And that's the only magic you seem to be picking up. You can't even pick up magic on other people.
Okay, so there's some sort of magic suppression or cloaking.
Can we
going
see the walls? Like, can we see?
You can see the walls, yes.
Calcrates will sketch like the bugs, the type of weaponry. If there's any symbology on like the armor or the shields, she'll sketch those. She'll just do her little quick sort of mapping of the area in her secret book. I don't need to take Oxy.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll search the room, see if there's any interesting nooks and crannies.
Does our cleric have any abilities to search the room?
Your cleric has lots of abilities.
She's still there?
Do we still have an M?
I'm still here.
Well, we'd refer to you as the cleric, as you are the only cleric of the group.
Well, Evie's also the only other person in this game right now, so I figured it was kind of obvious that we might have been referring to her, but maybe not.
No, I completely went over my head. That's fine. Yes, sorry.
Oh, damn. I was asking if you've got any room magic detection, investigative spells, tricks, tools that you wanted to employ while we're in this barracks.
I mean, like, I have detect magic, same as Anton. The only thing, possibly, I could ask my dad to see if he can point us in an interesting direction, so I might do that. Be like, hey Dad, you see anything interesting in here?
Okay.
And ask that in Celestial.
And
to respond as quietly as possible, please.
Okay, so the room sort of lights up with the video he normally plays, but it seems to be centered on the back corner of the room.
Okay. What's over there?
You see in the light a chest flickering in the webbing.
Harkins will not open the chest. She's gonna hop over there because that's a chest and she has dragon skills, and that possibly contains something shiny.
I would highly recommend investigating the chest first. Check.
She's not gonna like yank it open or anything like that. She's seen mimics. She knows not to just grab these things. But she races over there to get the closest look at it first.
Okay, good. Just making sure, because I know sometimes your impulse control is not quite there.
So by the time Caltrix reaches the chest, Caltrix has an appearance of a ghostly form as she's now draped completely in cobwebs, all hanging off her like a frayed ghost.
Oh, wow.
I'd make references to Caspar, but I believe that's not known in this world.
Oh, Casper might be a mythical figure.
I would also like to make a point that in no previous tombs we've been in has Calcrix been attacked by a mimic of any sort. Unlike other members of this party, I don't think any of them are present here tonight, though.
Do you mean other members of the party, aka the only other person that's been attacked by the mimic, which is Charbel? And he was attacked by
I know Bradshaw has.
I'm pretty sure Yodri and Bradshaw have also had encounters with.
Oh, have they?
And
Yeah,
I believe Chauvel has as well.
Yeah, Cheval definitely has.
Cheval got attacked by drapery, by curtains, or it was like a woven mural or something like that.
Would any of my dragon skills work in investigating like chests and treasures and things like that, or not really?
Just as well as most of your other skills.
Okay, well, I'll investigate kind of using that.
Do an investigation roll as you're looking.
Do I get advantage because I'm a dragon?
Not particularly.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think while she's doing that, I might summon an unseen servant, which is often an interesting, a safe way to open a chest.
Okay, so 15 plus what? Just 3?
Yep.
So 18.
Okay, looking around, you can say there are definitely no traps on that.
Okay, well, I'll blow the cobwebs off. Can I see any symbology on it?
Yes, it seems to have all these frayed cobwebs mostly gone from it.
No, but
Giving this
chest.
wispy sort of ethereal look to the chest.
Is it a gold chest, a wood chest, a stone chest?
Seems to be made out of wood.
Is it?
And it seems to be a fairly large chest.
Right.
So much so that you think Anton could lie full length inside it.
So it's a coffin-sized
Coffin
chest.
size. Do you want? I can summon an unseen servant to open it, so we don't have to get too close to it.
I mean, it would not put it past that the wizard put himself into like a long sleep or turn himself into a lich or something like that.
Oh, yeah. But considering that you've made that point, Calcrix will kind of look up at Zal and go, no dead people inside? It is coffin-sized.
Is it a coffin or is it just a real long trunk?
It looks like it's
What does it look
proportionally high as it is wide.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it is a large chest, the sort of chest that you'll be standing next to as you lift the lid, instead of bending down and kneeling and opening.
Yeah, okay.
There could be an entire family in here. She looks at Zal again. Check. Like, you deal with undead things.
Don't think necromancy quite works like that, but sure.
Calcrix doesn't necessarily understand that. The cat's given up on me. He's decided to go for a walk because I'm jiggling the chair too much. Which means I can get some Oxycontin. I've been waiting for him to get up for like 7 minutes.
Okay, so yes, Calcrix is looking expectantly. You want to summon an unseen servant?
Well, I just think it might be a safer way of opening the trunk.
Well,
Uh,
she definitely wants to see what's in there. She definitely kind of wants to lay claim to the first thing that looks the shiniest and
Okay.
nicest.
If patience is not the strong suit at the moment, you can open
If it's
it.
okay, but she is patient.
Okay, all right.
As I said earlier, Calcrix does remind everyone that she's only 12, but she really does know she's an adult. She just wants people to underestimate her.
Okay, well, I open the chest. With the
Okay.
unseen servant.
Okay, you see the unseen servant moving through the room because there's still enough cobwebs for it to push him out of the way.
Yeah, and dust flying around and such, yeah.
And eventually it's wrapped up in enough cobwebs you can sort of see the top of it.
Okay. All right, well, there's my unseen servant. It's not unseen anymore. It's seen servant now.
Yes. Well, you can see where the head is and the arms, but the legs are still unseen.
Okay. So, yeah, half seen, half unseen servant.
Okay, it struggles for a bit to lift the
It's too
chest.
heavy, is it? Okay.
And it takes it a little bit, but it does start to lift it up.
Yeah.
And it does creak and groan as it lifts.
Okay.
Not the servant, but the chest.
And Calcrix are equal like this.
Okay.
As
Is
this
this going to be beyond the capability of the unseen servant, so we have to help?
I think it's just going slowly
It's
because
just going slow.
it's such a big lid.
Are you
Okay.
sure the unseen servant doesn't know how badly Calcrix and want to see what's in it, and it's just going really slow, pretending it's really hard to draw it out because it's got a bit of a mischievous streak?
And you see it sort of climb up the chest to keep opening the door.
Okay.
If it does need help, Calcrix will use her height to help if she's got height.
And then you
You're
hear...
this 8 foot ceiling. You're probably a bit cramped.
She's she'll either be medium or large size, depending on.
Probably
This-
didn't grow up in size since you came into the in the first time at medium size.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, so you're
I don't
medium
know what's-
size at the moment.
I don't know what size that makes me. Like height. That would
Height
make
would
me
probably
on my back legs.
if you're on your back legs, you would be scraping the ceiling.
Okay. Yeah. So I'd be modifying my posture to fit in the room and open the chest or whatever it is if help is needed.
Okay, so as you open the lids, the front of the chest folds down,
Oh, okay. So it's one of those sorts of things, all right.
and looking inside
And
of it,
Calprix makes a very quiet as it gets her feet, and hopefully doesn't get damaged because she was standing that close because she wanted to know what was inside.
and sitting inside, you see a row of guardsman helmets, all in various designs, all sitting on leather armor for a medium-sized person.
Okay.
All neatly kept and bundled together.
Okay. Detect magic is they all just normal equipment?
The you do your detect magic and you sense the wards around the room again,
Okay, so we can't tell. Right.
and you realise it's basically designed to stop magic detection of anything
Fair enough.
in the room or the room itself. So you wouldn't have been able to
no,
sense
that
this
wasn't
room
for
with
you
magic.
to sit there. That was for
That is his favourite spot.
You
Mm.
you
Oh,
could-
Fear was like, no,
I want to put my knees
why?
back up so I can write my book. You got room. You fit in the smaller places.
But Mom loved me.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. He's like, why aren't you giving me attention right now?
And you hear the sound of sweeping coming down the stairs.
Sweet.
Oh, the
Ah.
broom's automatically coming in to clean up. We might need to close the door.
Okay. Though I kind of think that the room doesn't need a good clean.
I don't know that we want the broom sweeping.
Okay. I will close the door,
Without-
even though, against my better judgment, I'd like to see the room cleaned.
Mm.
Yeah, we can open up when we're not too worried about it, say, sweeping open and hitting the secret lever and opening a trapdoor underneath one of us unexpectedly, putting us into a stake pit and skewering us like we're
Sounds
barbecuing.
like fun, actually.
Yeah, open the duck to the bathroom where you discuss how you're going to deal with the sweeping broom.
It could be fun, but at the same time, let the broom in after we've finished investigating.
Right, okay. I will close the door then, with some reluctance.
I mean, I was very tempted to just dispel magic on the broom, but that's okay.
If you do that, that might alert the owner or stop the broom from doing its job for the owner, and then give the owner, like the barkeep, tavern people, more work to do the next day. So
Yeah.
I figured
True,
just
I
closing the
did
door
say
over-
tempted. I did say tempted. Not.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, I understand.
Intrusive thoughts. Let's just say that.
Well, the other thing, I think it'll stop anyone from noticing that we're down and in here and following us down and going, hey, you, what are you up to?
Oh, I can come up with good stories.
Yeah, but we might get kicked out before we want to get kicked out.
Mm.
Whereas this way, we get to investigate in privacy and quiet.
Yep.
We may want to double check that the door's not going to lock on us and that we know how to get out if we close the door. Or
I know how
close
to
the
get
door
out.
in
I
such a way that
destroy
it's
the door.
not... Pardon?
I know how to get out. We destroy the door.
Yeah, I don't know about destroying the door. Is this technically part of the barkeep's, like, tavern house thing?
Yeah, I know, but I
I wouldn't want
haven't
to destroy
destroyed
his
it. I haven't
property.
destroyed a door in ages. I just feel the need.
Look, I'll go find somewhere, like there's ruins and shit around
I
here.
think Anton's putting his intrusive thoughts in this time.
Okay, so how do you stop the broom?
Oh, we just close the door.
It was already on the stairs.
Oh, there's not a door into this room as well then. Oh, okay.
Can we
The stairs
pick
going
it up and move it back upstairs?
You have no problems grabbing it, and you take it upstairs. What do you do?
I take it out of the
Put it in
private room
the
and close the
private
door.
dining room.
Okay, when you put it down, it just falls over.
Oh. It dispelled the magic.
Well, I did threaten to do that, so, you know, I didn't intend to do that, but...
I've got an unseen server. The unseen server can pick up the job.
Mm-hmm.
So the chest had a row of leather helmets.
A row of leather armor with metal helmets.
So how many helmets?
12 sets.
And how many bunks are in here?
Looking at it, you could probably fit 20 if you get them all
Okay.
cleaned up
So,
and working.
so more than 12. Mm.
But did this wizard have lots of apprentices or something?
This might just be a barracks that it may not be the actual wizard's hidey hole.
And looking around, you count up 10 small shields and 17 larger shields
Okay.
all around the room.
Am I right in saying the Alphatians are really into, you know, like secret groups or factions or agents and doing all that sort of thing? And
From what you've heard, they have lots of different societies inside their society.
So-
okay, all right. So there's some silly little Alphatian secret society going on
Are
here.
there any markings on the shield, symbols, specific type, like lions on one, eagles on the other?
They all seem to have different symbology on them. Nothing that leaps out and say this is a holy shield or this is a specific thing you remember.
I'll note the symbology though in my book, so that if we encounter it somewhere else or something, is there anything written on the walls? Are there any books around? Any tapestry?
As Kalkrix is bouncing around, Kalkrix does find that the back of the chest seems to have books in it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Behind all these suits of armor.
Seems that when the lid came up, a opening in the back became visible.
Okay.
Kalkrix will whisper kind of loudly, "Anton, so do the check for magic thing."
Okay, well, it's not really going to work here, but I'll try again. Check for magic.
And detect the wards of the room.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Okay.
Well, okay, wander over and pick up a book.
I'll
Start looking at
carefully
them.
brush off any dust or webs
Mhm.
that might be on them.
That's true.
And
Right.
Well, the books
I'll-
didn't actually have any webbing on it because
Oh,
they
okay.
were inside the chest until you lifted the lid.
Okay,
Okay.
no, what?
Well, then I'll pick up. a
Not
book
many
as
people
well.
look behind the chest when they open the lid.
Yeah. Okay, well, start.
I hadn't had a chance to do a investigate of the chest yet, so I was planning to do that. So
Well, it looks like Anton and Kalkrix are investigating the books. You can
There's lots of books.
investigate the
I think we
chest.
can all have a book to read.
Well, it leaves Zal to investigate the chest. There might
Okay,
be
all right.
other stuff in there.
I'll flip through books.
If that's what he wants to do.
There seem to be diaries of people who went up against something they called the Old Order.
Oh, okay. Bedtime reading. We can go back to our beds and read for the night. Okay, sounds cool.
Kalkrix will. Does she know if putting these books in one of her satchels will hurt books?
It shouldn't.
She'll test putting one of the books in her thing and take it back out. If it's unharmed, she'll like books in bag.
It appears unarmed.
But while we're there, and I won't take it off you before you finished, I might have a flick through, a scan through, get some information before I put them away.
Okay, so I'll give each of you who are looking at a book a intelligence check to see how well you remember things.
Okay.
Okay. And you said it was the Order of
The Old
the Old
Order.
Order. Just a sec.
I might use fortunate on this. I want to remember things.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll probably use
A
fortunate
good thing
as well.
I did, because I'm rolling at either extreme. here.
Fortunate means with advantage, is that right? You use one of your three.
Yep. One of the 3 fate points.
Sorry.
And what did Anton get?
I will also 24 will do. I'll take 24.
Mm-hmm.
Ah! I know everything. 20.
20, natural 20?
Well, I don't know. What's the rest of the... Do you add the rest
add
of it
your
when you get a
intelligence,
natural 20? Because then it
up
would
to
be like
Martin.
23.
Up to Martin.
You generally do because it means how good you do it.
23.
So someone who gets a natural 20 and gets a total result of 19 is not quite as good as someone who gets a natural 20 and gets a result of 30.
Oh, I didn't roll twice. Do I roll a second time? Not with a natural 20, you don't need to.
You can't
Do
do
I
it.
still
You can't do
tick it
better.
off my 3 fortunate side?
Yes.
Okay.
You can't do better than a natural 20.
So... I haven't used my fortunate feat for ages.
And as you're looking through them, did M do a remembering check?
I thought I was investigating the rest of the chest while I was looking at the books.
You can do whatever you want. You can either investigate the chest and look at a book and investigate the chest. It's entirely
I
up to
I could
you.
do either.
And you could do both.
Both.
I'm distracted by books. Sorry.
Calcrix is naturally attracted to books. She collects them. So that's why she's just gone books and gone for the books. But that doesn't mean that you can't look at both.
I mean, I am interested in the books, but I like they're not going anywhere, so I don't really have to look at them right now.
Yep.
I mean, but if I can roll for both, I guess I will roll for both. Is it the investigate roll for both, Martin?
It's an intelligence roll for remembering, and it's a investigate roll for looking around the chest.
Alright, which one would you like me to do first, or do I just pick?
You pick.
Alright, I got a 18 on the remembering.
Mm-hmm.
And my investigate. I got a non-natural 20.
Mm-hmm.
We're all well tonight.
I had a 20 for a little while.
So Zal remembers hearing the old order somewhere, but not quite remembering where. Not quite enough to actually get the information, but Anton and Calcrix remember reading it in various books they got. Anton specifically from the Black Earth book, as they referred to the Alphatian Council as the Old Order, because that is the group who brought them over to Mystara in the first place.
Okay.
And the ones
Black Council.
who would order them along to various wars and basically provide oversight of the order.
So
It's called the Black Council, right?
It's
No,
the
the
Alphatian Council.
Alphatian.
So it's a council of 1,000 wizards, all archmages.
Okay. And they're calling it the Old Council. Yeah.
the old order.
The Old Order.
The Old
They
Order.
called them that.
So they're the people who brought the special ops elemental cults, earth, fire.
I know that
water.
they brought the entire Alphatian people here.
Oh, okay. So they brought the Alphatian people to Alphatia.
To Mystara.
To
Okay.
Mystara.
Yeah.
So this might provide some clues as to what the connection is that ties the cults.
And they refer to them as the Old Order because they've maintained the governmental hold since they came here. And the cults had been rebelling against it.
Okay.
But
So
the leadership...
special ops cults rebelled against it?
Yes.
Right.
Because they resented being used as a weapon.
Fair enough. Well,
Yeah.
I've got bedtime already. I want to go back to bed now.
I don't need to. I'm happy to entrust you with a book and I'll carry the rest of the books back, considering you probably can't read all of the books at the same time?
I probably can't read all
How many
of them.
books are there?
I probably can only manage one.
There's probably about 15 odd various books, all journals of different people throughout the years.
Right.
And this appears to have been where they would hide from the powers that be, who kept wanting to
overthrow the oppressors. Yeah, I'm with you.
as only a full spellcaster could actually make a change. And most of them didn't want to because they got all the privilege.
Yeah.
So when you say they used to hide down here, was it just the Black Earth cult they hid down here? Or members from all 4 of the cults?
Well, the book he's reading does seem to be talking about things that were in the Black Earth cult.
Right, okay,
So he knows it from the Black Earth cult perspective.
Yeah, so that particular journal refers to the Black Earth, whereas other journals might be, as we go through them, they might have other elemental people in there.
Not quite what I was saying. What I was saying is all his knowledge of it comes from the Black Earth cult.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Because all of his remembering about the history of this stuff comes from his knowledge of and his interaction.
So reading the Black Earth books. Yeah.
And
what about me? Who has no cult?
That's where I was trying to get to, but you kept.
I know. I'm just trying to get.
Okay, so Calcrix does remember discussions with the Lady of Darkness, who had said that there were people trying to force the cults into servitude. And she had brought them from their country to the northern reaches to get away from them.
Okay.
And her description of them does sound exactly how the books refer to the old cults, but she never actually called them the old cults. The old order. Yeah, she didn't call them the old order. It's
the first time I felt proud of being a member of the cult of the Black Earth, fighting against the oppressors. Yay, go guys! And that's not the way they say it though.
And Zol looked through his Feathergale Knights. That's not right.
Feathergale Knights is correct because they use that as that's the one that you joined. But they are also known as the Cult of the Howling Hatred.
Howling Hatred, yeah, that's right. Sorry, I thought I was also getting confused with a Pathfinder one that had a similar name as well.
I know they do blur a little bit because there's only so many good names you can come up with.
yeah.
For elemental.
I do like Howling Hatred, so you know.
It has the effect that you need, right?
Yeah. I will quickly leaf through that book and see if I can. Now that Antoine has mentioned that his knowledge comes from that book, that's probably where I've seen that information before.
You see lots of references to the oppressors, and only one reference to the old. What did I say again?
The old order.
The old order.
Yes. Yeah.
And they all seem to be in reference to someone forcing them to oppress others. So each of the books talk about the various elemental cults being the oppressors of the Alphatian people to stop revolts, revolutions, changes of ideals away from that of the government and the Council of Wizards.
So they're basically getting forced to help these previous cult people to do their dirty work, essentially, and they left because they didn't like that.
Well, they weren't told, they were compelled via magic.
Oh, they were compelled. Okay, right.
So, to clarify,
And as you're referencing the book at the moment, you have a feeling that there is some location here that's the heart of the cult that can compel them again.
As in here in the town we're in, or here in the hidden room.
I'm thinking somewhere nearby.
Here in Alphatia.
Oh, here in Alphatia, right? Okay.
Somewhere nearby, I'm assuming.
yeah, I presume we were sent here by the Blue Dragon because this town is close to that spot, and we are meant to do what Anton does by accident, and probably Chauvel and Bradshaw do best, which is destroy shit. I say that with affection.
I'd like to be a bit more controlled about my destruction
You would.
rather than accidental.
Just because I can't write fast enough. I just wanted to clarify.
A trick, if you don't know, is you pour it the other way, with the spout at the top.
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you pour it down
Or-
that way, it actually.
Or you can do
okay.
it sideways
Yeah, so-
with the spout opposite.
Sort of
rather
referring to
than,
if you're going to pour in that way, you pour it in that way, and
Martin,
it
a way
less.
that drips it less is to actually pour it from the side down.
Oh,
because
okay.
when you pour it top down, you do get a bubble out.
Not all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you really, you do.
No, it's just I had had a lot
The
of.
principle works the same.
Oh, I cleaned up the mess I made.
It's all good.
But I was trying to clarify because you talk really fast,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't write anywhere near that fast. You said they were rebelling against the enforced servitude, and then you said, is it Mistress of? Lady of Shadows?
Lady of Shadows. Yes.
So, yeah, which is different from the Queen of Darkness.
Different from the Queen of Darkness. It's the black dragon,
Yep.
black elemental dragon.
Yeah. She brought them to the north and then
Northern reaches,
northern reaches.
which is where the group have found the cults.
And that was to help free them from this compulsion in Alphatia.
It was to get them out of the war. Because if she had not have done it, they would already have won.
Did she do it just to get them out of the war, or also because she's just like, I'm not into enslavement?
She has not mentioned that aspect.
Yeah, Briggs will.
It's a
will
bit-
try
bit-
to
bit
remember
hard to
ask
tell.
her that at some point. Now, and you may not remember this, and I can look it up. The Lady of Shadows, Black Dragon, she is one of the few I've actually got the name of, so that if we're ever in dire trouble, I can
Talk to her.
use her name and talk to her. So, I just want to remind myself and the rest of the group that, considering that this is a subject and she seems to be integral in helping these guys, if we find ourselves in dire trouble, there is a possibility of seeking more advice from her.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of like a don't press this button until you're absolutely certain you're about to die.
Yeah.
But still, it's good to remember the button's there.
I'm keen to read my book.
Yep.
Okay, so after collecting some books, I'm assuming you have a quick check around.
As Zal wanted to investigate the chest a little bit more thoroughly.
Zal's investigation of the chest reveals that they do have symbols carved into the inside of the lid of each of the elemental cults. So at some point they've each been here. What they don't have is the all the cult symbols in a single symbol.
Okay.
So did you say
All the cult symbols in a single symbol wasn't carved into the box.
nowhere anywhere?
No, but each individually has been.
Okay. So
Generally, the all four connected together generally represents the Lady of Shadows.
oh, okay. I investigate the rest of the room as thoroughly as an inquisitive, stubborn, persistent dragon and her dark prey plant-like friend can do, looking to see whether or not there's a
I'll
symbol
watch
for the
from
Lady
the
of Shadows.
passageway because we're spending a lot of time down here. Somebody's going to notice us eventually.
If there's a magical way that Calcrix can do this because she knows the Lady of Shadows, she would like to use that shortcut. But if there's no shortcut, yeah. She'll just go through the room as quickly as she can, looking in any places that it would occur to her someone might hide such a symbol or put such a symbol.
Okay, looking around, you don't see any symbols to her, but you do see that one of the wall brackets is slightly angled differently than the others.
Calcrix doesn't
For
yank
the,
on
for the where you put the torches.
She doesn't yank on that wall bracket, but she definitely gets up as high as she can to examine it. And she goes, "Hey, Zal!"
Yes.
This one looks funky. And she
I
points
mean,
to the wall bracket.
only one way to find out, right?
At the moment, Calcrix looks like the shaggy dog version of a dragon.
Okay, so I'm gonna edit my line. Hey, Zal, this one looks hinky.
Wait, Jesus.
And then Calcrix, after you say, well, there's only one way to find out, Calcrix and Eve both turn to you with excited gleams in their eyes and go, does this mean we get to pull it?
What do you mean? They just turn and reach up and go.
I mean, check for traps, but by all means, well, if it's trapless.
I guess my version of check for traps is just an investigate roll, which is that one where I just add my intelligence. I got that the right way up. I do. I really need to paint, right way up or something on here. So that's an 18 plus 3 is 21. Jeez, that's my second 18.
Looking around, you don't see any traps that you can discover here.
Calcrix is like, pull the lever! No, she doesn't
Eve
say
jumps
that.
up.
She doesn't say that out loud, but in her head, she's like, pull the lever! And
Eve
then
still
she
jumps
Pull the lever, Kronk.
Yeah. She pulls. She will pull on the wall sconce thing.
Okay, while you're pulling down, you see Eve hanging on, helping you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Of course, Eve didn't actually move it while Eve was on it.
Eve could have if she wanted to, but she didn't. We
Eve-
like to share the joy.
Eve just likes to help.
We like to share the joy.
Because if Eve used Eve's full weight everywhere, Eve would fall through most things. Okay, so as it pulls down about 2 feet with a long bar into the wall,
Wow.
you see a section of the wall beside you sink into the ground
Interesting.
with a slight rumble.
No. It's just an earthquake, guys. Don't worry.
Hopefully not an earthquake. But hopefully everyone else thinks it's an earthquake.
I did when I came back down, I closed the door into this space, or the puzzle or trapdoor or whatever, right?
There is a lever on the inside.
Okay, yeah. I just making sure. I thought I'd said it, but I just thought I'd check it before we go too much further. So yes, all good.
And you can see into the cellar, as you can see a large number of empty kegs, barrels, and other containers.
Oh, Bradshaw's gonna be sad he missed out on this.
And they're all up against the opening in the wall.
Oh, okay.
So you think no one seems to know this is here?
Okay, so is that like a second entrance into the room?
A second entrance into the secret room, yes.
Yep, okay.
Mm.
So is this just like a different way out? There's nothing else here. It's just like it's an escape. Like never have one entrance into your secret hidey hole. Always have a way to get out the other side.
That makes a lot of sense to you.
Yep.
Because hey, if you only ever had one way and it was a long stairwell down, you'd definitely be stuck.
Well, yeah, if someone discovered where you were and decided to invade your secret meeting place and kill you all, you'd have no way to escape. And that would suck. But no sign of any other trapdoors or any other ways to get to the secret wizard hideout?
Not that you can tell, unless this is the secret wizard's hideout. Because hey, sometimes they do get some of the words wrong on rumors.
They do. So, for some reason, when I'm looking back at my notes, my eyes focused on the word apocalypse. And went, why did I pick that word out of an entire page of notes?
Because hey, they may have...
It's not foreshadowing, not at all.
It's always funny when they get, one letter wrong and they meant lizard instead of wizard.
Okay. Yeah, no, if this is a rumour, and it's not exact, it's described as a secret passage beneath the inn, which this is, which leads to a forlorn chambers, and it says of a long-dead wizard, but it could be a long-dead cult. Yeah, you know.
And some of the cult members may indeed have been wizards.
Yeah. Alright, so, anything interesting in the cellar?
Not unless you start pushing past the empty barrels.
No, I'm not planning to. I'll see.
You do see that there is a sconce on the other side from the one you pulled that's also dropped down.
Okay, well...
So you think that would open the door on that side?
I suggest we probably close it up and go out the way we came so that we don't disturb the cellar. And we read our journals and see if we can discover any more information there.
So you push the sconce back in and the door comes back up again.
Yep.
So yes, you.
At least we know of this little secret base.
Well, we've ticked one of the things off our list because so of the rumours, we've located Zert, the trustable mercenary who stays at the Walk and Wench Inn. We've avoided the trees in the gnarly forest which come alive at night. Kalkrick still wants to check out the ruined moat house to the east in the fens, which were once a place of evil but may hold great treasures and great perils. Then there's the bargemen nearby are pirates and not to be trusted. And then we've got our secret passage. And then I think that's it. As far as leads for trying to figure out where this elemental compulsion location is that we need to destroy. What did it say again? It says travel to the source of the elemental cults, Alphatia to Homlet, source of the princes of apocalypse and the temple of elemental evil. If we can end their connection, we could get Alphatia to fight the master. So we're looking for a temple?
Well, if you can sever the connection, you can get the cults to fight the master.
Yeah.
Not Alphatia.
Okay, alright. Well, see, this is why I read this stuff back.
We'll be severing them from the compulsion that they could potentially fall under if the master finds it. I think, is that right?
Because you do believe if the master does get his hands on their device or whatever it is that compels them, he could probably make it work where they are now. Which means he's probably searching for it too, because hey, if he had a bunch of cultists come and attack you from behind, it would definitely destabilize your defenses.
That said, we take the the books with us.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's no need to take any of the other stuff with us because, well, if someone checks out our room, they'll see we've got a whole bunch of shit we shouldn't have. Although we have bags of holding we could probably chuck in.
You do also see around the room while you're looking around for stuff that there is a whole lot of weaponry here.
What kind of weaponry?
Battle axes, halberds, crossbows, daggers, glaives, javelins, maces, morning stars, lances, spears, long swords, and short swords.
So, Calcrix
There's a full armory.
wants to reflect if she were to chuck all of this stuff into a bag of holding to eventually give back to the various cults who might have ownership and want to make use of them, would you be depriving this inn of weapons they would use to defend themselves?
Depends on if they are descendants of some of those people.
Let's see.
I personally wouldn't touch or take anything from here apart from like maybe read the books and then return them, but I wouldn't be taking anything from here.
I think, do any of these weapons stand out to Calcrix? Like, none of them look exceptional, they're just all like normal weapons?
They all look like they were personalized weapons of people.
Okay. She didn't have much contact with the cults individually, but would she looks to
Most of the
Anton-
weapons look like they would be older than the current cult members are alive.
Well, they might have had fathers, grandfathers, mothers, grandmothers who used them, so she'll look up to Anton and then up to Zal and go, do any of these strike you as maybe belonging to one of the peoples you met at your, like, you met like the leader of the Ethengar Knights, and you met the leader of the Black Cult. Do you see anything here that you might have seen in your respective books?
I mean, if any have a symbology on it, though it sounds like this is more just like an emergency weapons cache for the various cults. Like if they get called to arms and they're, they don't have their own with them. Though from the sounds of it, the only thing that had the symbology on it was on the inside of the chest.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Not even the outside of the chest had it.
Yeah. So like I don't. If none of them have any symbology on them, my guess would be that it's just a like emergency weapons cache, barracks, safety, kind of like panic room kind of thing.
Yeah, you do get the feel of panic room, safe house, for when persecutors come, which is not uncommon in places with religious nutbags. And from what you've heard of the Alphathian religion,
Religious nutbags.
they are literally religious nutbags. If you belong to a religion other than theirs, if you do not convert, you die.
Not like
Wait.
the Alphatians.
They don't have any, we can work together. It's like, you're either part of us or you're the enemy. But that's the religion's perspective. So they do have their holy warriors wandering around every now and then, throwing their weight around.
Okay, well, if there's
Just like necromancers.
Hello,
Yeah,
Josh.
haha, very funny.
Hello.
Are you up to playing?
I can have a go. I'll be going home shortly though.
Okay, you sound like you're in the change room though.
Under the hospital.
You're underground. Right, that makes sense.
Just got all quiet for a second.
Well, that's because we had an extra person speaking.
Yeah, no, I was waiting to see whether or not there was going to be introduction now or maybe a little bit later.
Would Josh like to introduce himself with his echo?
I'll get outside first.
Okay.
Yeah, so if there's nothing there that looks like it's special and should be like cached for someone specific, I'm gonna kind of I don't have like a religion or anything, but I'm just gonna sort of I guess tap into that side of my connection to I guess at least darkness and just see if there's anything that kind of says you should reserve this for later. And if there's like nothing that kind of leaps out, I'll just take what journals that nobody else wants. I'm happy to share them if people want them. Just ask.
From what you can tell from these items, most of them are not of fine or masterwork quality. So that means that
doesn't indicate it's not special.
From your perspective, that means that they would be non-magical.
Okay.
Because an enchantment to stay on an item requires it to be at least fine quality.
Okay. Alright, well, I'm curious about them, but then I'll leave them be and grab
But
journals.
there's also a chance that each one of these items is personal enough that they could be used to track a person.
Ooh, do I get... Ooh, how do I think I've got to locate object person.
Locate object would find nearly each of these items here.
Okay. I'm gonna...
He would have to know about them, though.
And they
been
probably
here for 100 years.
you would expect that someone who was in trouble left it here so they wouldn't be tracked.
Right, so taking them back to their owners would not be a good idea.
Well, the owners would be dead.
Well, they're their ancestors. I don't know. I may well be an experienced 12-year-old dragon, but I'm not. The way to get knowledge is to ask really stupid and extensive questions.
And plus, you might decide to go, I want my horde to be weaponry.
Well, is there any reason why I wouldn't take them, aside from the fact that if someone comes down here and discovers
It
them
may
wrong?
overload your bag of holding, and if it does, you lose everything.
Alright, well, I won't then. I was just poking and prodding to see if something turned up in terms of, well, since you've asked the right question in the right way with the right words, which you sometimes do, you get a prize.
Well, the point of it was each item looks personalised and trackable.
Well, I'll sketch a few of them just because I'm curious about their ancestry, but...
And that's the same with the shields. All the shields look personalised and technically trackable.
Okay. I won't take anything except the journals. And obviously, Gary, Anton, and Zal can grab one. I'll head up back the way we came. And I gather we'll go back through the kitchen, in which case Zal will see if there's a permissible way to get a midnight snack.
Well, you didn't. You can, once you go back upstairs, go to the kitchen.
Yep.
But you hadn't gone into it before.
Oh, okay. So we just passed by it?
You saw it across the room.
Oh, I see. Yep,
Make
sorry.
sure we close up the secret rooms.
We'll close everything up, of course, yeah. Does that go without saying, or do we have to say we close everything up?
It helps to say it, because if you always assume it, then the assumption is if you leave a room, you close it, which can be quite embarrassing when you turn around and run into the door because you're always closing it.
We close up after ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I will leave the details to Anton because he
I'll
pays more attention than Calprix does.
make sure it's all properly closed and looks as it was. We've sealed up the room, covered up the...
Do you put the dust back all over everything?
I can't do that.
Well, you can. There's enough stuff under the rug that you can just push it over. It will look like it's been disturbed.
Putting the rug back over the symbols,
and
on
then
the
putting
floor.
anything that might have been on there back on there.
And rearranging the symbols so it doesn't just automatically open.
Yeah. Calprix will put them
Although
back the
remember
way
the
she
pattern.
found them.
Remember the pattern too, so that we can open the door.
She's put that into her secret book.
Okay.
Pass back in view of the kitchen.
Yes, you can see the kitchen still has the raccoons working, doing stuff.
I gather more than 10 minutes pass, so she'll reactivate her ring of jittering.
You hear one of them saying, I hope we don't have more thieves trying to raid the kitchen. Don't want to have to wake the master again.
Calcrix will poke her nose in and go, is there any way I can like pay for a little bit of a minute? Like, I don't want to steal it, I'm asking. But I'm hungry, and I'll happily pay the master for the foods, but is there any foods?
He says, well, I guess then I'll go wake the master.
No waking the master required, I'll just go without.
We got told not to sell because we don't know money.
No, that's fine, I will make do with the rations I've got. Here's a cookie.
Try giving rather, because I don't understand. I can't.
Just
I can't talk.
Sorry.
And you do hear the chittering as they're all chittering to each other. And Eve chittering away as well, except you can tell Eve just keeps repeating what everyone's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's no chance, she was hoping there would be like a small chance of a midnight snack, but
You could ask it for.
Well, one of them does offer you a quarter of a pie that they had that was going to be their supper.
I want to take your pie off you.
Well, he says you look hungry.
I am hungry, but
So he pushes the pie towards you.
I give over several cookies. Is that enough?
He shrugs as long as you're happy.
Do you have to feed other people? Have you more cookies? Thank you.
He says, welcome.
So I'll make a pile of cookies big enough to cover up the amount of the pie. And then just a bit extra.
Do you have a feeling that they go through whatever's left over for the day?
Yeah, well,
Making sure there's no waste.
There's always, if anyone's ever gone hungry and I'm around, I always have cookies. Or I'll buy you a meal.
Let's buy.
I'll get you food.
Oh, okay. Nice dragon. Better than last dragon.
Last dragon?
Last dragon swore a lot.
What was the last dragon that you went? Do you know when the dragon came through?
Well, he was flying overhead and he was belching flame and saying really nasty things. At least that's what we think he was saying, because we really couldn't understand dragon.
What color was the dragon?
Couldn't tell, it was dark.
Do they have any concept of time, seasons?
It was night.
Was it cold season, leaves falling off trees, snow on the ground, really hot, lots of flowers?
He thinks. It was night.
That's okay. I was just curious. Makes mental note. Dragon who swore a lot flew over here at some point. Not quite sure
At
when,
night.
but at some point.
But it was at night. That was the important part for the right here.
Yeah. That's all good. I've always got my little other bag on me, so if I can pick out some like dried apples and nuts and things like that, I'll leave that behind as well, in case they like that.
So you also have a sneaking suspicion it may be in the Gnomish city.
Oh. Well, that would account for the swearing.
And it does rumble a lot, but no one can ever understand what it says.
The city rumbles?
Yes, because it's an engine.
Oh, yeah, of course. If I make that connection, then I'll make note of, oh, okay, well, they saw that then. Interesting.
Well, that night, everyone would see it looking up.
So we took 15 journals. I've got a quarter of a pie as a snack, and I will go upstairs and start reading a journal.
Yep. Okay, so you go upstairs, you manage to crawl into bed for the night with books.
Yep. Zal, you going to cast an alarm while we sleep?
Zal spends 10 minutes casting, ritual casting, alarm.
Just your door?
We're in the same room.
You and Anton are in the same room.
Cheval, Bradshaw, Chevelle was
Can you
with
cast
Yodri, I think, and Bradshaw was on his
multiple
own.
times?
You
No,
can
Bradshaw's with,
cast multiple alarms.
Ghost.
Yes.
I mean, if they want me to, I don't remember if they were quite being as cautious as Anton was.
I just remember that I'm pretty sure Chevelle had a private room.
Each of the characters ended up paying for a room, including Bradshaw, who didn't sleep in it.
Yeah. And I know Calcrix is in the best room, just by chance, and she's there with her silver dragon. She paid for an extra set of blankets and something for him to sleep on, and that's Varlin and Eat. I don't know with Varlin and Eat that Calcrix needs an alarm, but she won't say no to extra security.
I can set the alarm spell in your room too if you want. What are your conditions for the alarm? Anyone entering? Strangers?
Strangers, I guess. Because if you come in or someone she knows.
As you step in, an alarm goes off, and the Dragonborn in the room looks up, surprised.
Well, no. No, I didn't get to finish setting my specifications.
Well, he had set up an alarm.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Oh, do I know about it?
He hadn't got around to telling you because you snuck off.
Okay. How loud is the alarm?
Loud enough for the people in the room to hear it.
Okay. Does he turn it off straight away?
He does.
Okay.
He'd set it to if any non-dragon enters the room.
I will tell Zal it's probably not necessary for you to say alarm. I'm pretty sure Varlin can make sure I'm safe.
He says, gets out of his book and starts resetting the alarm.
Calcrix gives him a hug and hands him
He happily munches away on it.
Yeah, I bet he's got a book open in one hand, munching on the other one.
I mean, that's his fault for making it dragons only.
He should know that it should include Mum and Dad. And she Calcrix points it out, she's like, to Varlin, and it's like, you've got to remember, Mum and Dad are okay. And Anton's... As long as Anton's not the Black Knight...
He does tell you that as long as they knock and you open, then they're welcome to come in. But if they walk in without knocking, it goes off.
But I opened the door.
And no one knocked.
Yeah.
So that's the alarm he put on there. It was if they don't knock and you don't open it.
Calcrix sighs and goes, duly noted.
If you'd like me to change that, he's more than happy to.
No, that's fine. I'm just going to make everybody who's not me knock on the door.
He's happy with that. Because it should be respectful.
Yeah, that works. Even if they're walking in the door with me. It'll be nope, not on the door.
I mean, to be honest, I thought Calgary was in a room by herself, but never mind.
No. She made sure she made accommodations for Varlin because otherwise he'd be
sitting outside,
and she doesn't want him sitting outside. And then she also did Drazzle's rooms as well.
Fair enough.
And you can hear Drazzle snoring through the wall.
This might be a time for that silence spell.
Only last 10 minutes.
Long enough for me to fall asleep.
Right.
I'm gonna curl up on the bed with my pie. I'm gonna offer Eat a bit of pie because I'm pretty sure she's never had pumpkin pie before.
No.
And I'm like, this is your reward for being so good. Does Eat turn into a pie or a pumpkin?
Nope. Just happily munches on there.
Okay. I also split my pie with Varlin in apologies for waking him up.
He is happy.
And if we're skipping to morning without event, Calcrix will wake up with pie crumbs all over her journal and pie on her cheek.
Okay, as you wake up, you do read that each of the journals you've taken was from a different century almost.
Okay.
As whoever had been in charge of the hidey hole wrote the journal.
Okay, so it's the same person wrote all 15?
Different people wrote all 15.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Just for the
Different
record,
people
I
from-
sleep on top of the bed.
Different
because
centuries.
I can't take
different
Jar hide
century.
off.
So
I
does that
sleep
mean
on top of beds because I can't take Jar hide off.
does that mean it covers 15 centuries?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Seems that for roughly the first 500 years they weren't that dissatisfied with being the oppressors of the people, or at least no one survived long enough to write something down.
I hope I got one of the books about the time when they were fighting the oppressors.
They were always fighting the oppressors,
Okay.
especially if you're a non-spellcaster.
Not really the way I see oppressors, but anyway.
The people fighting the oppressors were generally non-spellcasting
Okay.
because they
sorry, I'm getting back to front. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
they had no status in the society besides serf.
So
Yeah.
if you've got 1500 divided by, say, 4, because you wouldn't have, that you didn't have a black element in terms of those 4 cults, it'd be roughly, I'm guessing,
375.
It's roughly about 4 per
Yeah.
cult,
yeah,
with one of the cults probably not actually getting its 4th book.
yeah, okay.
Because it would be 16 if it was even.
Yeah, so roughly, yeah, as I said, give or take, some might have only done 80 years, some might have done 105.
And some of these books generally go for maybe about a 10 to 20 year period in that time.
Okay, over the 1500.
Over the rough 100 years of that period.
Okay, I think
Very few of the books are not contiguous.
Okay.
It's not one finishes and the other one starts.
Okay.
The books sort of talk about them trying to get independence and then just stop.
Okay, so that's
you
important to know.
you have the suspicion that while they rebelled, most of the rebellion was killed off on a regular basis.
Oh, okay.
So just to make sure I do have this clear, what time period are we talking about? Are we talking about over 1500 years? But we're talking about 20 years here, 10 years there, 50 years here.
If you're lucky, one goes for 20 years. Most of them go for 1 to 5 years.
Okay.
Because rebellion in a place full of spellcasters is not easy.
Okay. Take note about reasons for success and reasons for failure. I think make note of that.
Most of them trust the wrong people.
Okay. All more reason to be on their guard.
And there are many who get special favors for turning in rebellious people. Especially family members or confidants.
Okay. Bloody Alphatians.
And they also note down that confessionals are also not sacred.
As I say, bloody Alphatians.
A religion designed as a police state.
I've got it. I'm hating them. I've got that. Don't need to reinforce it. I don't like these people at all. I'm not holding against the local people in Fomlet because they're just probably part of the oppressed.
And you do get the idea that they've only ever used this safe place as a hidey hole to get away from current witch hunts.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad the Lady of the Shadows has freed them.
Speaking of which, at some in the morning before she goes downstairs, is Kara able to does she have any spells like she has like shield, circle protection type things? Would that stop people from overhearing her prayers and things?
No, you can do prayers internally instead of externally. You don't have to physically say them.
So she'll do her internal prayers, especially if she didn't do them the night before because she was too busy adventuring, and she was tardy and didn't pray to all of her her gods, but she'll include one to the Queen of Darkness and just say, if you're in contact with the Lady of Shadows, we're on this mission right now, and it seems that it might be relevant to some of the stuff that she was involved in here, and if she's got any advice or information or anything like that, feel free to kind of send her my way, and I will make reverence and give her cookies in the appropriate manner. She kind of leaves it at that. Does a usual offering of its coffee for the Queen of Darkness.
After your prayers, you do find sitting in front of you a tiny little onyx and sapphire statuette.
Okay.
Of it looks like the blue dragon you were speaking to.
Oh, like the ancient blue dragon or the Lady of Shadows black dragon?
The ancient blue dragon, but done with some styling of the Lady of Shadows.
I will examine this little statuette.
You believe it's telling you that she had communicated through someone else to guide you here, but can't talk to you directly.
That's fair. That's fine. I will.
That's the impression you get when you touch it.
Yeah. I will.
Which means it doesn't look like her, and it doesn't look like the other dragon.
I'll send a little thank you very much. I will do my best to serve her interests and the Queen of Darkness' interests, as well as Redrian's interests here. And I'm going to add that to some of my very valued items. And now, when I put things in my secret chest so that people can't find them, do I have to do that in darkness so that nobody sees it?
No, it's just that you technically make a tiny little chest that you've got. You probably don't want to show people where you get that from.
No, well, I would do it in privacy. So Cavrix is incredibly paranoid when she does this. So she literally gets all of her cloaks, makes herself a little tent, and then does it inside her little tent with Valen and Eep standing guard outside her tent.
So do we have a Josh online to introduce himself, or is he still in transit?
I'm just got home. I can get it first.
Okay, you go do stuff first and let us know when you're available. Okay, so yes, you have put your stuff away safely.
Well, I don't want anyone to accidentally discover my little symbol.
And when Anton goes down for breakfast, he does see that there seems to be some sort of gathering of druids down at one of the tables.
But before we get that, I was going to check in with Proshka. How's he going? Where is he?
Proshka's commenting on how warm the person is to sleep on.
Okay, all right.
Ask if you want him to steal anything.
No, we're just gathering information here, Proshka. We're not trying to steal anything. And don't use your sting either, for that matter.
He does draw your attention to what appears to be a symbol of the four cults together.
On which one? Who's this?
In the person he's following, he says.
And Cavrix.
Okay, show me the person. I want to see who
He shows you the person and making sure I get the right name.
So just so you know, Cavrix did give you character knowledge that when she was looking in the room, why she was looking for this symbol of all four cults combined, because it did mean the Lady of Shadows, and that was significant.
And it shows Zert, the mercenary.
Ah, he's got the symbol of all four. Okay.
Yeah, on some papers with scribbles.
Okay.
So either he stole it or he works for the Lady of Shadows. We've got to figure that bit out.
Yeah, okay. I'm kind of inclined to say, if you want to steal some papers, go for it, Proshka.
Okay. You get a feeling of him stuffing as much as he can into his mouth.
Okay, they might not be legible when you get back, but anyway.
I have a feeling, and I could be entirely wrong here. I kind of hope that I'm right though, that when he spits them out, they are somewhat still readable because he's just got this talent for thievery that involves he just eats it and then he can just like regurgitate it up, but it's still mostly okay.
Would you explain how we can get through so many cookies without showing it?
Well,
Yes.
let's see. This is interesting. This is an interesting experiment. So, yeah. But otherwise, head off down. And there's a group of there's a table of druids.
Yep.
Okay.
You can sort of hear them arguing about something to do with a death recently.
Okay, I think that might be a young boy yesterday, so I will not draw attention to myself. I'll settle down for breakfast. Won't complain if it's porridge.
Okay, so as you sit down, they do have what they call meat of the day, some strange sort of sausage. Not what you used to, plus it does have some eggs and some what smells to be really nicely cooked bread.
Okay.
Looks like they have cooked it in oil.
All right. Well, I don't want to prejudge other people's cuisines, even though I do miss Trelladar and spices. But yeah.
Okay, so the eggs and the bread, not that spicy at all, feel rather plain.
Yeah.
But the sausage, they definitely put a lot of spices in there, and boy, is it nice.
Okay. All right. Good. Take
It even makes your eyes water a little bit, reminding you of home plus the heat.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's a good start to the day. I'll try and I'm not very good at this, but I'll try and listen in on the druids. Not drawing attention to stuff though.
Okay. They seem to be trying to figure out what they should do. Should they approach the dwarf and conduct a trial? Do they have a right to do so?
Palgrix has got the hand, so at some appropriate time she will be approaching the druids to speak to them about that.
I don't think I should intervene at this point. I will just keep my business and stuff and just listen.
And they seem to be talking about punishments more over guilt.
Okay.
Have no fear, your angel of death is here.
Yeah.
Hi.
This is not going to make it easy for us to get their assistance.
Okay, so Josh, would you like to introduce your character?
I am Josh Chevelle, the lawful stupid paladin.
Oh, come on, you missed out on the whole play.
He sounds a bit too tired for that today.
Are you ever too tired to introduce your paladin properly?
Come on, even Anton did Failed Ranger for you.
Oh yeah.
I didn't do it with quite the same gusto as you do it though.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Failed Ranger, yeah, but that's fine. It still happened. I didn't miss out.
One quick sec, my computer's having a bit of an easy bit. Where are we? There we go.
Sorry, I think I just called you by your character's name too.
Okay. So everyone's gusto today. Okay, excellent. Hi, I'm Josh. I play Chevelle the Paladin.
That's what we all know.
Even your studio might cut out a little bit.
Was I trying to do what I accident?
I was going to say, it didn't have to be gusto or loud, just we missed all the A's and the L and the rest of the A's, and then the I's. You know, isn't it like 1A per level?
Yeah,
Something like that.
I take note of these details.
Okay, so you sit down and you have the Name also escaping me still. The guy who Proshka was watching.
Kurt.
Zert.
Zert.
So it sits down across from you as the Proshka sort of happily sits on the table between you
Okay.
and pulls out some cards and keeps offering it to Zert.
What does Zert do?
He just looks at the cards and shudders.
Okay.
Says no fortune, no, don't want fortunes, no, please no fortunes, no cards for me.
Fair enough. I know. It is. You don't know what you're going to get.
He's heard of magic cards making you disappear forever.
Yeah, I think they probably could do that. Yeah.
And dragons, fey or not, are known to play practical jokes.
Yeah, although Proshka's normally pretty harmless. So, although those cards aren't.
Yes, and if they're just a divination of my future, I'd rather not know, he says.
Yeah.
Better not know about something you can't avoid than dread it for the rest of however long it takes to arrive.
Yeah, okay, there's some wisdom in that, I'll give you that. Yeah. Well, I do.
Says, so, did you have a interesting night? I hear the stables is to die for.
Well, yeah. Yeah, there's... Interesting is not quite the right word. There is a difficulty that we will need to smooth over, and Calquix might be able to do that. And there was an unfortunate incident last night, and there was a lot of regret and sadness about that, and we will do our best to make amends.
Yes, we did happen to come across a ball of crushed bones.
I don't know whether that will be able to help anyone or not.
Then shouldn't the druids be able to resurrect him from that, if not the hand?
Quite possibly.
Okay.
But not resurrect, it's reincarnate.
I've got the hand.
Reincarnate.
The R word, the correct R word. Hopefully the GM doesn't.
And the issue is, if the bones aren't all the kid, they could try to reincarnate the wrong body.
Okay. Alright. So that's why they need the unadulterated hand.
Yes. Confirmation of what it is.
When GM deems appropriate, I'm guessing right now he's conducting role playing between Anton and Zert.
Yeah.
I'll do my bit, but I'll wait.
He does, ask where do you hail from because your accent's interesting.
Karamikos.
Oh, he's heard of that. That's that place where they announce they're going to invest in a university.
Oh, are they?
Says, hadn't you heard? It's now become a kingdom and has separated itself from the oppressors of the Thyatan Empire.
I had heard that. Separate themselves from the Thyatan Empire. Well, I think that is. I remain sceptical because I didn't see that in the politics when I was there. But if they have done that, it's a positive development.
Well, says anything that puts a nail in the Thyatan Empire is a good thing for him.
Yeah, we have a grounds for agreement there.
It's a good thing you haven't.
Is he Alphatian? Is he speaking with an Alphatian accent?
He does have an Alphatian accent, but everyone hears Alphatian.
Yeah, I know.
So, he does look as if he has more than one element. Unlike most of the people here.
What does that mean?
Meaning that he would at least be 6 level plus.
Okay, alright.
As even Alphatians of 5th level or lower will only have one. Just that when they get higher, they start to take on multiple.
Okay, alright, yeah.
Because that's their belief. Diversify, empower, take over the world.
Yeah, there's too many people who want to take over the world. Not enough who just want to live in harmony and peace in this world and not oppress others.
Yeah, well, where's the fun in that?
People.
Well, the fun is in less conflict, less war, less death. Still the occasional tragedy when we're not looking after our friends very well. But
all the great stories involve a war of some kind.
yeah, okay. The way you're thinking of these stories is you're thinking of these stories in terms of the victors and that. But remember that death has a cost. That's something I've learned. That when people die, there are others who aren't happy about that.
They're normally someone else, he says. The non-hero of the story, but of course I'm the hero in my own story.
Okay, we're all heroes in our own stories. I'll give you that.
And the hero always survives, so we're all good.
Death comes for us all.
It's not everyone. The Empress has staved death off long after she should have died.
Okay, well, there are a small number of people who've been around for a very long time. I agree. That's true. You and I, however, aren't likely to be in that category.
I intend to get there at some point.
Well,
strive for power, gain power, don't die. That's a good plan, I think. All they're going to do is learn how to use magic.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah.
It's not that hard, is it?
Look, for some, it depends. It can come to you. That's true.
I'm sure I'm sure I can make whatever pact I need to get power.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can make pacts. I don't know that they're actually necessarily a good thing to do.
Well, you got first-hand experience?
Yes, I have first-hand experience. I can't say it was a particularly pleasant experience, but yes.
Why don't you enlighten me so I don't actually make the same mistakes you have?
Don't make the same mistake. Well, the mistake I made was to do something I didn't quite understand.
So do research first, I see.
Yeah, no, I understand what it is you're doing first. I think it's a good way to start. Yeah, that's true.
And so what does your patron ask you to do?
Well, my patron, as you describe him, doesn't actually ask me to do anything.
Well, isn't that a good one? You get power, no responsibility.
Power comes with responsibility, automatically.
But you're not told what to do.
Yes, true. I'm not told what to do. At the moment, at this very moment in time, I believe I have free will and I'm not being told what to do by anyone.
So the only responsibility you put is on yourself, not someone else. That's very good in his mind. Where can he sign up?
It's not quite as easy as that.
Why not? You did it. Can't be that hard, can it?
It is hard.
And it sounds like a lot of work then.
It is a fair bit of work, yeah. It took me some time.
Can you put in a good word for me then?
I could put in a good word for you.
You would much appreciate that.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like in return for this good word?
At the moment we're dealing with a problem with the tragedy that happened last night, but you may be able to assist us in some other things we're trying to do.
Sure, just let me know. I'm here to help. I know a few people in various places.
Okay, that's good.
Always good to have an ear out for opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, there's yeah, right, okay, we'll do that, At the moment we have a tragedy to deal with first.
Well, he'll let you get on top of that one while he goes off for a walk. He doesn't really need to be here for that drum.
Okay. Yeah.
He heard enough of it last night.
Okay, we'll see you around maybe in the evening at dinner.
He'll definitely be back for dinner. He's just got to send off a few letters.
Okay.
And you sort of hear him muttering as he walks off. If only I could find out where some of them went.
Some of who went?
Letters that have been chewed up by Proshka. We'll see whether or not they're legible.
Right, I see. Yes, that will have to be looked at in private.
We can't really have a quiet conversation, can we?
No, but And I guess I'm free to come downstairs now.
Well, I was going to have Zal come down
Yep,
next.
so
And then have Calcrix come down
Calcrix is catching up
Cheryl.
on her notes, that is fine.
Okay, so Zal makes it down for breakfast just in time to hear them doing a last call.
Get some the sausage is good, Zal. Make sure you don't miss out on the sausage.
And Chevelle is not far behind. Chevelle looks completely like she slept well, unlike everyone else.
Okay, alright. The sausage is good, guys. Don't miss the sausage.
What does Em and Josh do?
Sorry, we were just talking about family stuff.
Calcrix wants to know what family stuff. Made a decision about something to do with me? No, I'm kidding.
No, how I never want to see his mother again. Does he remember that? Does she remember that, sorry?
Yes, she does. You also know you haven't actually met her, but you don't want to meet her again.
No, I know, yeah.
Oh, you love time travel.
Anyway, yeah, sorry. I was just catching Josh up on some stuff from this afternoon.
Do your characters go and grab some breakfast before it disappears with the suggestion of grab the sausages?
Anton was encouraging you to have some sausage. It is very spicy.
Why?
It's yummy,
Look.
spicy.
Oh, it's spicy. Oh, I'm sure Chevelle would like it then. I don't like quite spicy things.
Sure, I will try the sausage.
Put it in your special beer stein.
I don't think it works like that. I don't think my sippy cup makes spicy things plain. It just makes
Non-alcoholic
wine
and
non-alcoholic.
non-poisonous.
I know, but I thought it would be funny.
Of course, if you put a sausage in there and it goes splish, you'd be a bit worried about what you're drinking.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so yes, Chevelle does really enjoy the hot sausage. It does bring tears even to Chevelle's eyes. It's spicier than the Ethengarians do.
Oh, cool.
Though from what you hear, it's very much along the tradition of the Traldarans. If you can taste the sausage, you haven't put enough spice in.
Yeah. Is that because we don't want to know what else is in there?
Pretty much.
Might be stable boy.
Unlikely, the only meat left was the hand.
Absolutely. Well, they did say they found the ball of
Bones.
That's vomited up.
I'm guessing that's undigestible part of stable boy. It's kind of like hairball for cats. I really don't need to go there in detail.
Okay, so yes, you're sitting down and eating, hearing some druids talk about punishing someone for the slaying of someone the night before. And they seem to be arguing and going around in circles about do they have the right, what sort of punishment is appropriate. And the younger of them are going life for a life.
I would have thought a life for a life would be not the druid way, but that could be just me.
Yes, well, he also looks rather young, so some people are very black and white when they're learning.
Hey, I'll listen in. I'll see if the two older druids correct their well, not correct so much, but try and steer their younger charge in a different direction.
Well, one of the oldest one there does say, well, a life of servitude is a lot longer for a dwarf than it is for a human, so a life for a life does seem rather excessive to have him work off. And the young one is just looking at that, but that's not what I meant.
Yeah. They'll kind of like he'll try and not chuckle to himself, but he's chuckling to himself.
And just about everything the young kid suggests is twisted in a way that is more reasonable, but sounds horrific.
Yeah. No, I like that older druid already.
With the whole great suggestion, but hey, do you really think that one through? And when he comes out and says execute someone, it's like, well, the dwarf didn't execute him, so that's not quite the same thing. In which case he says, you would then be the person who executed someone. Does that mean we execute you afterwards? And we keep executing people, there's no one left to execute?
I'm glad to hear the reason here.
It's an ever vicious cycle of
retaliation
at that point.
Well, it's basically if you he does point out that if you provide a punishment greater than the crime, that is a crime in itself.
I actually agree with that too.
And
yeah, no, I like this older druid.
While he's having this discussion, Calcrix comes down. And you see that a bunch of raccoons run a plate across the middle of the room and put it down on a spare table for Calcrix.
Calcrix pulls out sufficient number of cookies.
Seems they saved a bunch of the sausages and toast.
She
Didn't save any of the eggs, though.
She will reward raccoons with things, and she will also say, I'm not sure I can eat all this sausage. Would you guys like a little bit for later?
Oh, they say they saved some.
Oh, okay. Well, that's more than fine. Would you like some more sausage, Anton?
Am I feeling hungry? Probably not. I've had a big breakfast already.
Proshka puts his hand out.
Oh, Proshka. Yeah, okay. Now,
of course, Proshka coughs up a wad of paper.
Okay.
So we can have the sausage.
I will suggest you swap a sausage for that wad of paper.
Okay, swap a sausage, yeah, right.
And he swallows the sausage almost longer than he is in moments.
Impressive.
It doesn't look as if you put on any weight whatsoever.
I don't know how you do that, but thank you. Let's have a look at these papers. I will just carefully...
It's not even wet.
When they're intact and perfect. Okay.
Well, they're scrunched up into a ball. You just have to unscrunch it.
Okay, well, just carefully. I don't want to wreck the papers or anything. What do they say?
Okay, so it seems...
I'll cast comprehend languages if I need
I
them.
presume if you're sitting next to me, I will also peek over your shoulder. So if you don't know the language, I may.
Okay, so the symbol at the top does, when you do comprehend languages, give you the name Old Guard.
Old Guard.
The Old Guard.
Oh, the Old Guard.
Guard.
The Old Guard.
So as it gives you a translation of what you to roughly what you know.
Yeah.
You have a feeling that is the symbol used to order around the various cults.
So it's not, in fact, a symbol of the Lady of Shadows. It is, in fact, the symbol of the Old Guard.
It's a symbol of authority.
Okay.
Lady of Shadows used it to get them out of.
Oh, I see.
Which is why it was never used by the various cults. It was only used by those who commanded them. And it seems to be a report on Homlet and the fact that there is a stranger here who had been asking about the Feathergale Knights in particular, about what people knew about them, and how he had heard that up in one of the other villages nearby, they'd been asking about the Black Earth monks of the Moving Stone.
Okay.
Because that's where a lot of the air people go. Seems to be going carefully asking about cults not related to the region they're in.
So
No
obviously
description on
not.
these people, who these people are? Just that there have been people asking questions.
People asking questions who seem to be wearing elaborate disguises.
So obviously not Zal, who's being here, who might possibly, unbeknownst to.
Well, it's written as as if it's been happening over a number of weeks.
Okay, so definitely, because one possible conclusion would be that, well, maybe Zal was asking around out of our earshot, maybe he's reporting on her, but because it's been over a few weeks.
And he
we
hadn't
know
had
it's
time
not
to write something before Proshka stole it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm being too suspicious here. I'm thinking agents of the master.
And it's talking about trying to get information on them. Their names don't provide any information to divinations. Their items
False
don't.
names.
Their items are all purchased in Alphatia in the last month. They've got nothing that he can find that has been.
He's really a competent spy, this bloke, sir.
And he's requesting that they send some decent diviners down here to be able to look into them further.
Okay.
Because for whatever reason, they don't seem to have anything. His knowledge seemed to be able to penetrate. But he can tell that they have used makeup to appear as locals. And they seem to be doing so in each locale as if they're of the same people.
He's pretty bloody good, this bloke. Okay. Proshka, I will take some notes down. And I actually see Calcric is making extensive notes. Once we've finished taking notes, Calcric, Proshka, I think you better return these letters.
You go through, he looks like he's been doing various investigations over the last couple of months. Each one he keeps adding to the report until he's gotten a conclusion and then sends it off.
Okay.
And looked like he was getting close to a conclusion for this one to say he needed more supplies and he's exhausted what he can.
Yeah, fair enough.
Does he say what kind of supplies?
What kind of supplies?
Supplies, yeah.
His request was for diviners to be able to use magic to track him down because he doesn't have access to a lot of magic.
Okay, yeah. But that was the only kind of help he was asking for?
Well, you're not sure if he has authority to ask for more.
I just went, when you said supplies, which you might have used accidentally instead of diviners, I thought maybe he was in need of like parchment and ink or something like that. These are things that Calcric could give to him if he needed that to continue making notes and things like that.
And by all looks of things, the symbol on the top was part of the parchment, not actually something he added.
So, I'm interpreting right, he seems to be working in opposition to the oppressors?
No, he's working for the authorities in Alphatia.
Oh, so he's working for the oppressors?
Yes.
Okay, so Calcric won't give him any parchment.
But he, flicking through the other pages, he doesn't talk about dissidents, he doesn't talk about arresting people, he just talks about occasional people who sound like they may be Galantrian in origin or Thiatan in origin, but each one he's written up, they haven't done anything suspicious, and he'll just keep watching. In the sense of not a knee-jerk panic. Oh God, this is someone we need to deal with. Just they seem to be decent. They don't seem to be causing any trouble. Worth watching. If they're spies, well, they're not destabilizing anything as far as he can tell.
No names?
He doesn't put names in there,
That's fine.
and you think that's on purpose because
That's what I thought.
a lot of authorities might go, I've got a name, I'll just arrest them.
Yeah. So ask Proshka to return, to take them back.
The only ones he does have names for are the people who'd been asking about the cults, and he says that the names don't seem to have any.
He did say that, yeah.
They don't actually have any root anywhere. they technically don't exist.
Yeah.
And each person seems to have about 3 or 4 names already.
And when this stranger that is reporting on asks about cults in the area, he always asks, did you say about cults not known to that area?
Yes. So imagine going to the air people and asking about the earth cult, and going to the earth cult and asking about the air people.
Yeah, that's a good point. It doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
They're asking about what would be the natural enemy. So what are you gonna gossip about? The people like you or the people opposed to you?
Yeah, okay. I see your point. Yeah, okay.
So from your perspective, they're asking the perfect questions in the perfect place, which means that they're planned well, which would also be in his notes.
Yeah, okay. Sounding like the master's agents to me. But I'm just being suspicious. I asked Prosper to return the papers.
He does also
to do so without drawing attention to what's happened.
The last bit you do note when you start to when you look on the back is that he doesn't seem to be able to follow them because they move with magic.
Yeah.
Going out of their way to obscure even their passing.
Yeah, okay.
And every time they show up somewhere else, it's with a different identity.
So we don't. We've got a more immediate problem to deal with, and that's making sure Bradshaw doesn't get executed.
Zal and Cheval read the letter as well, since
Yep.
we're all sitting together.
They can have read the letter as well.
I presume they don't have any questions?
I don't know if we have the answers, right?
Yeah, it tells us something about what's going on, and tells us who Zert's aligned with or who's working for. I think I might get Proshka to hang around Elmo now. We don't know anything about what he's up to.
Yep.
But meanwhile, we've got some druids and threat of an execution to do with.
You see Proshka balled up the letters and shoved them in his mouth.
How does he do that?
Well, he doesn't seem to be able to open his mouth quite largely, he just shoves it all in there like it's cheese.
Fair enough.
Soft cheese.
Soft cheese, okay. So once you return it, maybe see if we can find Elmo.
He's more than happy to as he flies off happily.
Okay.
You hear him chirping along the rafters.
Alright, yeah. Okay. Trying to be surreptitious, but okay.
Well,
he's having fun. He's having fun.
Seems to be trying to do the pigeon impression.
Okay.
As long as he's not like Lovey. Lovey has a very dark side. Anyone who wants to get the reference, watch Spies in Disguise before it disappears off Netflix.
Okay, so yes, you finish the meal and you see that the druids are looking like they're finishing their discussion.
Okay.
Calcrix will... does anyone tell Calcrix about this discussion?
You just quietly whisper it to the... They're talking about what to do about Bradshaw in terms of punishments.
You mean they're going to kill Bradshaw?
I think they're trying to persuade... There are some druids, the younger ones seem to be in favour of executing Bradshaw. Others are thinking about other punishments.
What?
I think maybe we could try and talk about Weregild or paying for reincarnation or something that might actually...
Well, Bradshaw did already pay 20 gold coins, but I was planning to talk to the druids about the burial ceremony for this.
I'll hand it over to you. I think you're pretty better placed to handle this than that.
Though you do have amongst you a cleric of Yamuga, who is a earth cleric.
So Calcrix will look at Zal and go, I don't need literal hand holding, but can you come with me while we go to talk to the rules?
I take that as a no from him.
Oh. Calcrix will...
So I don't quite understand the question.
Calcrix was asking if you will go with her to talk to the druids.
Because you're a cleric of Yamuga and an earth cleric. And these are earth druids.
Yes?
Martin pointed that out. Which seems to indicate...
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I just know, well, I mean, I know the druid is different, but the father of Bryn, was not happy with me being a part of it, but I guess that doesn't mean that I can't chat to the druid.
Well, you're obviously not a local, and you don't sound like you're Alfratian. It's basically like saying, I want a current American government representative officiating over my next event.
Yeah.
I'll approach the druids and...
They look up and see you coming. They all stand up and bow in your direction.
Calcrix will not quite bow, but like nod her head in respect. She's always careful not to show subservience or submission, but respect.
And the head druid just to the other ones at the back behind him, and he says, "Greetings, dragon. I give you the gift of my time. What do you seek?"
Greetings, honored druids. I have a very close friend who is also a druid, and I understand and respect your ways. May I introduce my cleric here, who is a cleric of Yamuga and the Earth. Her name is Zal. His name is Zal, and he is often my herald and offers me advice about things of Earth nature, which I may not have learned yet.
He does look amused at it, and then he turns over to Zal and says, "O herald of this wondrous dragon, please enlighten us with your words."
Yeah, Calcrix is kind of not hoping that she's hoping there's no disrespect there, because she might have to take umbrage, and she doesn't want to.
Well, he wasn't saying it sarcastically.
Okay.
He was basically pointing out that the herald did not, in one point, introduce you.
Yes, and Calcrix, if I may, I'll just explain. Sorry, I should have said it the other way around. One of the reasons, please let me explain that. One of the reasons I feel the need to introduce my herald at this point is because when we met Bryn's father yesterday, he seemed not too enthusiastic about dealing with a cleric over a druid, which we can understand, but we weren't entirely sure if you would receive us with welcome or not, and we're very pleased to see that you're very welcome.
Well, they do believe in the old faith of the forest, as that is where they live their life. And they don't believe in the goddess of peace anymore because she's ordered them all to war. It does shake up one's belief in religion if they demand you do something, they demand you don't.
At this point, if I may introduce the rest of my party, some of our party members...
Or should we let your herald do that, as that is his job?
Oh, well, yeah, that's it. Zal, this would be a great opportunity to say some of our group members have direct experience of exactly this, and to take the chance to introduce Cheval and Anton.
You can hear him quite chuckle a little bit.
Greet the druid, and say I am Zal, herald of the great dragon, white dragon Calcrix, of the
Should she not be now silver dragon?
Sorry, I'm silver at the moment.
Sorry.
I appear as my multi-elemental self here, since it's considered good and it's respected, so I'm silver with the black and the blue, all shiny.
I will just say the great dragon Calgrix. Then.
Oh, great shiny one.
I point to Anton, and to Chauvel, who are also in our party, and we have some experience of
very similar quandaries.
I am.
Yes.
I bow and say I'm of the cult of the Black Earth and make the sign and show them the sigil.
He nods and greets you using a language you're not quite familiar with. Just on the edges of your...
That
no,
may...
it's druidic, is he? Okay.
Yeah, just
and
be careful.
It does feel as if he's giving you some sort of prayer.
Yeah,
okay,
just be really careful because Zert is hunting for people like you.
Yeah, he might be hunting. I'm not really scared of him.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not scared of him at all.
Just be careful about who you tell that you're a part of Black Earth.
Somebody who looks carefully will notice the sigils.
Okay.
It's on my hand.
Okay. Just.
You
could be wearing gloves.
No, don't, because I've got scales already. I've got scales already. I don't need gloves.
Yeah.
Actually, do I have gloves? I've
I
got
thought
so
you
many
did
bits
have
and
gloves.
pieces of items.
I'm pretty sure that you mentioned, like in one of your descriptions, that you wore gloves and black boots.
I went in the. I don't think. Ash grey hide armour, dark drab green cloak, soft red brown shoes.
I don't have you down as having any particular gloves.
No, I don't. Iron band on the left ankle. Apart from the fact that I stand out, there's nothing really there in my gloves. This is the thing, we all stand out.
Might be the boots that I might be.
We all stand out. This is the thing, there's none of this hiding.
Is there anything that particularly says Zal is howling hatred and that Chauvel is...
What about Dad?
Burn the world?
I mean, if they recognise the walking great big spear that I carry around, sure.
Well, you probably don't necessarily carry it.
Well, most
with
people
you to
have
breakfast.
Most of them generally don't leave them around because they are.
That's true.
I have to carry my pole hammer all the time, otherwise it makes a big mess.
Okay.
And from
and it can't go in like a bag of holding like that because it's a type of relic, isn't it?
That is correct.
Does that mean you are all in danger here then because they're looking for members of the cult?
No.
They're looking for dissidents. They're not looking.
Oh, okay.
They would probably still have some members of the cult floating around.
Fair enough.
The reason Zertz showed a lot of interest in us, we're obvious.
I will retract my thing and put it down to my lack of understanding of
Humans are weird.
the situation here.
And you do see sitting in one of the corners, Bradshaw looks like he's on his 10th mug today.
Wasn't he supposed to be carving some kind of stone horse?
He was. He may be doing it while he's drinking, but who knows?
Okay, alright. Because my reasons for Bradshaw not being downstairs was going to be he's currently working on this iron horse or something for Bryn. Because I know any spare minute I've had, I've been working on the little display that
Bradshaw always intends a lot of stuff, but doesn't always get it done.
Well, I'm currently working on my stuff, but Calgrix has in the back of my mind to check on what's happening with that horse, because if she has to come up with a horse at the last minute, she needs to be prepared.
Okay, so, he, you don't really see him make note of the others too much, except look in their direction. And he says, "Come, sit down, have a chat," he says, as he smooths out his robes and sits down.
Calgrix will pull out her coffee and tea set and say, "May I offer you a morning cup of coffee or tea?"
He would love some.
Do you have a preference?
He has heard of the Larum blends being particularly tasteful.
I will dig in my bag until I find my Larum blend. How many druids were there?
There are 3 druids.
3? Yep.
One of them looks like he's a 13, 14. The other one looks to be in his 20s, and he looks to be in his 60s.
Do they introduce themselves by name at all?
They can if I find the right names. Okay, so the lead calls himself Jeru Ashstaff.
Sorry, you want me to turn page to write his name down? And could you please spell... Yeah, once my fingers start working. So the leader...
The leader is Jeru, Jaroo.
Yep.
Ashstaff.
Ashstaff.
Yes, one word.
As in, shove it up your Ashstaff.
I'm sure that'd be a very interesting greeting.
I was thinking of it as a departing comment, but yes.
I'm calling him Chief Druid.
And then I guess we've got our mid guy.
Yeah, I sort of may have to look him up differently, because I don't want to spend a lot of time
No,
looking
that's
for
fine.
him.
I can always choose you later.
So I did read it, and I did note it, and then, I think I found it. Calls himself, he's called Brother Smythe.
And is that with a Y?
Smyth.
And our youngest? I'm presuming he's a brother as well.
He's called the Pot Boy.
The what?
Pot Boy.
The Pot Boy.
Mm-hmm. Because he hasn't grown old enough to get a name yet.
Ah. In reverence to Princess Bride, I might just call him Boy rather than Pot Boy. I will prepare 3 cups of coffee.
Oh, he says, well, the Pot Boy's too young for them.
I will make him a special coffee, cinnamon milk, just like Chocobo gets. And I will give Zal an opening to say, I believe Bryn's father had some very had a specific request. It's a good ceremony in mind for the farewell of Bryn.
He says, well, we can do a final service, or we can return him to this world, depending on if the punishment fits the crime, he says.
Punishment?
Yes, because if the dwarf can pay for the returning of the boy to the land of the living,
the dwarf is more than happy to pay for the returning of the boy.
Then that would be seen as punishment enough.
He already offered to do this, but wasn't sure if it was possible. He has recompensed, even though he knows there is no way to properly recompense for the loss of a child, 20 gold pieces to the young boy's family.
He sort of gestures for you to pause for a moment. Yep. Yes, that should be enough to pay for the pain and suffering of going through death and rebirth. Though the child will lose its childhood in that time.
I feel that perhaps maybe a trust could be set up for the young family. I'm pretty sure the dwarf would be amenable.
He says the unfortunateness of a reincarnation is the child will then be a full adult when he's brought back.
And he should be recompensed for the loss of a childhood, for nothing can make up for the loss of such joy.
But bringing one back from the dead is far better than not giving them a chance in the first place, he says.
I have heard about this possibility through my druid friends, but I was wondering, are there any details that you may share with us about how this is done, or just about any religious druidic aspects that might enlighten us about your culture?
Well, he says that given the chance to come back as what they were is very rare. Normally when you ask nature for help, nature chooses a more appropriate form based on its whim of the day.
And what do you need for this ceremony?
He needs to use rare oils and materials up to 100, up to 1,000 gold worth.
I will see that you get what recompense you need for the ones that you have yourself, or get hold of these oils and things yourself. Did you say oils and...
Oils and unguenses. I can't remember.
It's like perfumes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting myself to actually pronounce that, my brain just keeps tripping over, going, nope, too late, nope, too tired, nope, can't do.
Yeah.
So yes, oils and ingredients.
Yeah, no, that works.
And he says that's generally what forms the new body.
Do you need any part of the child?
Without a piece of the person, then there is no way to bring them back.
I managed to recover his hand, and then keeping it cold and safe.
He does say, pun intended, that's very handy.
Just let me know when and how best to deliver it to you. I don't think it's appropriate at the breakfast tables of the inn.
Well, he does point out the door and says, just across there is a path leading into some trees. That is their grove. If you bring it there after you finish here, they will start setting up the ceremony.
Okay, I will take it there as soon as we...
And they do turn to Svilland, saying that a cleric of Mother Earth is always welcome in their grove if you wish to join them.
If you're happy to have me, I would love to learn more.
Just no animating the dead, please.
What about
at
you?
all.
You do carry the skull of an ancestor on you, after all.
Yes, there is some circumstances around that, but I do not raise the dead.
Regularly?
I don't think I've actually done it at all.
Well, that is good to know, he says.
I possess the knowledge, but do not put it in practice. Let's just say that much.
But you do carry an artifact of necromancy on you, so...
As a worshipper of Earth, would it help to have Anton?
Yes, he is welcome to come and watch, though not participate.
I wasn't
Sorry,
planning on half
Mistress's Spice, you're not welcome, you'll burn the forest down. I'm joking.
Is that where he goes, spicy?
I was told to burn the forest down. Okay, let's go burn the forest down.
Says your friends are welcome to watch, but not interfere.
Of course. We would be honoured to help in any way that we can.
Okay, so this is going to be interesting.
What happened?
Okay, so apparently it is definitely justice involved.
Okay.
Because
So I gather you rolled. I can't see what the...
That's okay. You didn't need to. Looking at the roll won't tell you anything.
No.
The result of the roll is the important part.
Yeah.
The roll turns out to reincarnate the boy into the form of a dwarf.
There is so much poetic justice.
Like I said, the world
There is
provides.
so much wrong with that.
What is going to happen though? Is he going to be called... If he misses out on his childhood, does that mean he's a teenager?
No, it means he's a full adult.
Which means he has to go immediately to Rockholm and part with his family.
Not necessarily.
But
He has no knowledge of being a dwarf, doesn't speak the language, doesn't know the culture, only has the memories of being a boy.
he only has the knowledge he had when he died.
Yes.
So he's going to need Bradshaw to at least... Oh, that's not so good.
No, he could continue his life here in Homlet but in the body of a dwarf.
Yes.
Okay. Alright.
So now
He would be long-lived in
So
town.
what would happen if a dwarf would come across?
they would find him odd because he's a dwarf who was not a dwarf.
Okay, so if the king of dwarves turned up, he wouldn't be punished for
He
not...
would be very confused because he's a dwarf who doesn't speak dwarf and doesn't know any dwarven customs.
That's all I wanted to check. As long as this doesn't come back to bite him, and he doesn't get like, you did not come to Rockholm.
And you also note down that he seems to be a beardless dwarf.
Okay, that's even more confusing.
I mean, we've seen hairless wolves before, so you know. Did you say there was a clan of hairless wolves in this region?
I said there was a clan of beardless dwarves. They still have hair.
Oh, right.
So
Okay.
he's going to be completely hairless.
No, I said beardless.
Okay.
Again, other people said hairless.
Okay, sorry. Great.
All
I'm
good.
trying to make sure I've got it correct. So he's going to be a beardless dwarf,
Mm-hmm.
and there are beardless dwarves in the region as per...
There are beardless dwarves in Alphatia.
Okay.
The Alphatian dwarves don't have beards.
That'd be why. Okay. That'd be interesting. The
Sorry,
beardless
I changed the wrong word. Hairless and beardless.
That's why I specified. And we did have a hairless dwarf at one stage.
Yes, we did have a hairless dwarf,
But that
and
was
we
in
know that there are beardless dwarves native to the region.
Okay, so they do say that he will be well cared for by his family, and now his family has a member of their family who will now outlive the entirety of them.
Which is a little bit of a curse.
It is. He has at least another 400 years in his life.
Yeah, at least he might be able to live his dream of looking after animals now.
And he can dedicate time to learning that he wouldn't have had he come back as a goblin, for say.
Pancreas is putting some thought into whether or not she could talk to some long-lived animal familiars or something like that as someone a lifelong companion for him, to kind of make up for the fact that he's going to have to go through the death of all of his entire family.
Well, the druid does say he will take him on as an apprentice to learn the ways of looking after animals as part of his training to be part of society again.
If he becomes a druid, then he can possibly become animals himself,
He can, yes.
which would be one of the best ways to commune with animals.
Probably, but that's only if he takes the temperament to not upset the balance of the world.
I will pray to my gods that it be so.
And the trauma of dying can really mess with someone, so he will give him time to get over it,
He will
as he teaches him patience.
I very much appreciate this.
He tries not to teach people to do too much in the way of harmful magic until they are stable enough to use it wisely.
Just because he's born to be an adult doesn't mean he will have had the time to become one.
Well, he's an adult with the maturity of a child.
Oh, that's it.
He hasn't even reached teenage years, he skipped them completely.
Yes, although his death was a very regretful accident, unintentional, the gravity of the consequences of this have Zal has communicated this, and our dwarf friend is very aware of the extent of what's going on.
With higher levels, he could have brought him back younger, but he does not have access to such magic.
What's required for that? Just out of curiosity,
From a player perspective, you would need to be able to cast 6th and 7th level spells.
which would mean a level 12 or 14.
11 or 13.
Oh, 11 or 13. Okay. Alright, so if one of us had been a druid, unfortunately none of us are, we may have been able to do it ourselves. A shame that maybe by next game I can't bring Thala in through a teleportation circle and get her to do it, because she would technically be level 12 by now.
To do so means you would have to kill him again.
Why?
Because he's just been brought back.
Well, he hasn't been brought back right this second.
Technically, if you know he's a dwarf, he's been brought back.
Oh, okay. Already?
Yes, because it only takes an hour.
Oh, okay. I haven't given him the hand yet.
I assumed you came and gave him the hand. I didn't want to do the
Oh,
whole
you've skipped
pedantic
bits
thing.
and my poor
Yes.
little brain is not
Yes.
computing that. Okay.
Because you don't get to find out what you are until the end of the ritual which creates you.
You didn't explain any of that to me.
The GM can literally choose the form, but I like the randomness of not knowing.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of poetic and very fitting that that happened more.
And so, from the chief druid's perspective, justice has been done. A dwarf has caused harm, and a dwarf will now look after the community.
Master Ashstaff, may we make another request?
What other requests would you like to make?
We, the companions of Calprix, the Silver Dragon, we oppose the Master.
He has heard of someone who claims to be master of all. He thinks he's rather short-sighted in the sense that he hasn't conquered what he said he would.
That's an interesting perspective.
Well, if he's the master of all, how could he be stopped by mere mortals?
True.
Especially mortals without magic.
True. He nevertheless is powerful.
Power doesn't mean absolute.
True.
He knows many powerful people who are
he's
idiots.
still a mortal himself, right?
No, he cannot be killed by mortal means.
Oh, okay, so he has sort of transcended, but he's not a full god yet.
He is not a god yet, but he is no longer mortal.
Calprix has wrapped
Right.
a cape around the spear she shouldn't have, that is going to apparently is one of the few implements that can kill the master. So, you know, she's not indicating or looking towards her wrapped up weaponry.
He does say that some of their scholars say he studied sometime here.
Oh, did he?
In maybe about 1,000 years past.
Okay. Well, we are here in Homeland in your land because I, as a member of the cult of the Black Earth, wish to enable my cult to oppose the Master. And we understand that the cult is tied to this region.
He says they have a place known as the Temple of Elemental Evil. It's known as such because it's only ever activated to suppress, never to help.
Activated to suppress.
Never
Yeah.
to help.
That's how they get the cults to obey them.
They use
Suppresses their freedom.
They use the sign of all the 4 cults connected as their symbol for that temple and for those who activate it.
Okay. And so, could that be used to actually free the cults from the tide?
It could. He believes that there is a guardian of the sort for each of the cults that guards whatever tethers them to this land.
Frees the cults, okay.
And probably one that tethers the leadership to the temple itself.
Okay.
Of course, we're not permitted to write any of that stuff down because, hey, they always try to find if anyone has written stuff about that.
Repeat that just slowly. I've lost all of it.
Okay, so he said that the each of the cults should have some avatar here representing their cult.
Avatar, I thought it was guardian.
Guardian avatar, same sort of thing.
So when he says that, does he mean Zal, Cheval?
No, the avatar is someone in or someone or some creature
associated with the Temple of Elemental.
So
is it in the temple?
Like Herman, but 4 of them. Herman being the Queen of Darkness's avatar.
Something along those lines, yes, he says. And he doesn't know exactly where they are because that knowledge has not been passed down.
Okay.
Just that he knows that all the knowledge of it is only passed word of mouth amongst the various druid groves, because writing it down generally involves you disappearing the next day or the next week.
Right.
So that means.
So me writing now is not a good thing. How do we find this temple of elemental evil?
He says he will ask one of his superiors who may still remember.
Okay.
But he himself has never heard it being active in the last 20 odd years,
Okay.
which is roughly when you heard the cults moved. It took him over 10 years to get from Alphatia to Northern Reaches.
Okay.
Because they only arrived in the Northern Reaches around 1005.
In addition to each cult having an avatar guardian that protects the Temple of Evil?
They are the connector for each cult to the temple.
Okay, so
It represents the link.
it doesn't necessarily protect the temple.
It's like a control mechanism, he says.
It connects them. So do we have to? You don't have to destroy them necessarily. You just have to convince them to leave or disconnect.
He does not know you may be freeing them. And they may, freeing them may be setting them free literally or physically, in the sense of killing them.
Okay, so
Because he does not know if they're willing or unwilling.
I will free you as in Thranduil freeing goblins, or I will free you as in break your chains.
Yes, it could be quite either of those. We have a mic.
Can't quite turn. My neck won't go
Okay.
in that direction.
Ariana did a wave towards you.
Because I can't turn.
So I might pause it for a sec so we can say hi to Mike, and then we'll continue. Where is my pause button? I know I have a pause here somewhere here. And welcome back to our game, and we were just talking about how the druid had brought back the stable boy who had become stable fodder and had
So he's already done this. Sorry,
Yes.
my brain doesn't cope
just-
well with skipping bits. But when you rolled the dice, that was essentially the resurrection.
I was just doing the recap.
Yep. Okay.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, it just throws me when you interrupt me in the middle of it. you had the stable boy who had become the stable fodder, who then had been regrown into a dwarf to be justice for the dwarf not paying attention when giving the mount to the stable boy who ate him. So it'll be an interesting time for this 10-year-old mind in a 50-year-old body.
Dwarven body, which is alternate to his
Mm.
previous human body.
I have. And so now he is excited to learn the ways of the druid because now he's technically old enough.
Okay, so we didn't. Did we actually see the ceremony then?
You did see the ceremony.
Because I was gonna try and which I can do between games. I'm more than happy. I was gonna suggest between games anyway, but because Calgrix is trying to learn aspects of Earth and Earth magic and stuff like that, and all she can. So she would like to kind of take some notes and things.
This is more nature than earth magic and generally deals in healing.
She's still really interested because she wants to write letters to her pen pal Thala, who is a druid, and say, I got to see this great ritual, these are the bits. But I'll
So
do
there would
between
be
games.
lots of chanting, lots of prayers, and lots of thanks for when it actually works, with the note of it probably is fairly true to justice that the crime did equate the punishment in the end.
So not a perfect time to cue Josh with living on a prayer? Lots of prayers, rock concert, chanting.
Mm.
No?
Or diggy diggy hole.
No, he's been reincarnated. We don't need to put him in a hole.
Well,
Right?
you still got to bury the hand.
Do we?
Yes, because the hand isn't touched. It's just used as the focus for the reincarnation.
How weird is that? He could technically have his own gravesite to visit of his own hand to,
You should reincarnate.
Well,
He's having a second life.
The Wednesday group, Alf, was arrested for causing the death of a halfling, which was his character before reincarnation through the gods.
Well,
So
hopefully-
he had to argue the fact that technically he was responsible for his own death, but it wasn't committing murder.
hopefully no one's going to be hunting down Bradshaw because they find this boy's hand and they don't get all the bits in between.
Well, the community here will be the one that buries it, so they won't be just finding a hand. Whereas if he tossed it somewhere on the side of the road, then hey, who knows?
Calgrix is just going to make sure that it goes on record with whoever is the village keeper of records. If that's the druids, then so be it. That Bradshaw doesn't get eventually. Although that would be kind of funny.
It would be. Okay, so I was going to suggest that at the end of the ceremony, you'd see that there are a couple of more druids would come in to help perform it, including one looking as a black bear.
That's really cool.
The session will end with the ceremony, however you'd like to describe it.
Which ceremony?
The resurrection ceremony.
What do you mean? However we'd like to describe it. Do we all get to pitch in?
You can imagine it however you'd like. How would you like to imagine it?
Okay. I don't know. There's a bear. I think we should be holding hands and dancing.
And from everyone's perspective, it's however they imagined it, whether it's the same or not.
I'm not sure.
I'm joking.
I'm not sure we're participating.
No, we're observing only. So
Yeah.
Calgrix will be. She's allowed to. She'll be sketching things in her regular journal.
I kind of think they're walking around and with mistletoe and
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And anything you can imagine may actually have happened here.
I expect with all the unguents, there's probably a pungent smell.
Of course, everyone's hired here for the entire ceremony, so
Yeah.
that's why you could
Oh.
literally be anything you
Do I have my
imagine.
pipe yet?
You do have your pipe,
I
yes.
have a pipe?
Yes.
Calgrix will share her piece pipe. With as many druids as required.
Well, you wouldn't want to do it with the druids.
Oh, really?
Yes, because it's a different religion,
It's the wrong type of pipe.
and they may not be able to concentrate on their ritual.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, then I'll take back that. Why are you all the fun.
Hey, you can share it with the audience.
Yeah, maybe not. It depends. I think Yodra would be the only one who'd get high with him. Calcris doesn't want to get high. She just wants to, you know, be helpful.
Okay.
One other thing, though, it won't take long.
Yep.
I did give something of a commitment dessert. And while I don't really want to encourage people tying themselves to my master, I also recognise that freedom of choice, that's what he wants to do.
He wants to tie himself to...
He's a bloody idiot.
He wants
Orcus?
power. He doesn't know who's involved. He's just interested in
The
power.
way he's talking, he seemed to know who it was.
He didn't know who your
We
patron
could
was.
do your
Okay.
meet up with...
You never
Zerg.
mentioned it once, so he
The
was
way
all
he was
excited.
talking, I thought he knew.
No, well, the thing is, you said you've been given no directions from your patron. That's who he wants to sign up with. Someone who gives him power without obligation.
But you don't have to actually sign him up to your patron.
I can't sign him up to anyone else.
I wouldn't be doing... I really think that since you could probably hold this over to next session, you should probably hold it over to
hold
next
over
session.
next session.
Planning
Because,
for next session.
I have a feeling that, like the consequences of handing over his Drake to the stable boy and losing life to the stable boy, signing someone up to Orcus without kind of... I have a feeling the consequences of this might be...
Well, it's I wasn't actually going to sign him up straight away.
Yeah.
He was going to put a word in for him.
Yeah, no, I would... you know, you could just put a word in for him with someone you consider your patron, but isn't
They
actually...
don't have any
Orcus.
contact with any other patrons.
You could always ask Calcric, Zal, Cheval about, you know... I'm sure your Muga
I actually
provides very
don't
little.
know how you become a warlock.
He never figured out how he became one. He just
Calcric
happened.
used to be one.
No,
she's...
you were not a warlock.
You were a
Oh,
sorcerer.
I was a sorcerer.
Yes.
Jeez, I always keep getting that mixed up.
It's easy to mix it up.
It is.
I do
All right,
know...
well, I'm happy to leave it till next time.
Yeah.
Because it's actually only just a few die rolls and a short conversation.
Okay.
It is.
Unless I go insane, but that's yeah.
That's always a possibility.
Yeah, no, I just think if we could think of a way around signing him up with Orcus, maybe we should.
Well, again, it's
I'm
Anton's
a believer.
choice.
I'm a believer in freedom of choice.
And if Anton chooses to do something, we should let him do it.
No, I didn't want to stop Anton from doing something he wanted to, but I had a feeling that Anton didn't want to sign people up to Orcus.
No, I don't. But he wants to sign up to Orcus. See, it's not my see.
He doesn't know who he's signing up to, though.
I don't want to make other people's choices for them.
But shouldn't you at least help them make an informed decision?
I told him it wasn't a good idea.
Oh,
You
I
did,
don't know.
and I remember you
suspect
saying
there's
that.
a train wreck happening, but yeah.
It definitely is. So, does Joshua M want to add anything before we go to end credits?
All good.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay, going to end credits then.